Hi, everybody. It is Isaiah from the Silent Podcast, the place where everything but silent. That's my first time messing up on the intro. That is so unfortunate, but you know what? We're here. Um, we are here with bounce checks for the real first official episode of this podcast, talking about Big Brother 24. Wow, this has been a mess. Who could have saw this coming? Not us. But we're here. Like last time, I'm here with Katie. Katie, how are you doing?
I'm here. I'm good. I guess I'm ready to talk about it. I feel the same way I did going into the draft. I feel like we saw this cast and we were like, "Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this." And I'm still like, "Ooh, I know more about how I feel about this and it's not good, but I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. We're going to have a good time today, I can tell."
All right. Also returning from the Big Brother Canada podcast, and now new host of Just So Damn Messy, Josiane. Josie, how are you doing?
Honestly, I'm excited because I have had a lot to say and I've explicitly chosen not to tweet about it because I want people to hear my tone of voice with the latchings I will be delivering today. So I'm excited for that because instead of being sad like I have been watching the feeds, I would rather be excited about giving reparations for my sister Taylor, who is not here with us on the outside. So I'm excited to be her mouthpiece, even though she didn't ask me to, and I don't know her personally. I'll be doing the Lord's work for her. So I'm excited. Plus, it's good to be back with the crew, and talking about Big Brother. So I'm excited.
All right. And we have one of our new silent podcasters. Not the first time on this podcast, but the first time on podcast with Diego. Diego, what is going on? How you doing?
Hi, I am so excited to be here. It's my first time podcasting with all of you. I'm very, very excited. Definitely, it's been hard to watch this season. I had very high expectations, especially coming up from a really great 3 seasons, including the last two BB Canada. It was very disappointing. It's been very, very hard, but I'm excited to be here regardless.
Okay. Now, if you can't tell by the tone of everybody, this has been a mess. If you've been on Twitter, shockingly, also Facebook and Reddit, this is the first time all the socials are kind of like in unity that like this season is a damn mess. Okay. Uh, what we saw last week, we kind of spoke on it during the draft. There's a whole lot of jumping Taylor, a whole lot of people just kind of having like a lot of negative thoughts towards her. um, it was kind of being spearheaded by Paloma. If you watched last night's episode, Paloma definitely kind of got the front shot spotlight in terms of that. We'll speak about everyone else when we get to the actual player ranking. In regards to Paloma, she was actually removed. We kind of saw this spiraling a little bit. She was kind of losing her mind a little bit. I don't know if it's something medical. I don't know if she was removed. I don't know if she quit, but she seemed to want to be out there. Do we have what's our like departing thoughts for Paloma now that she's not in the game, Katie?
So I think first and foremost, I want to say this does not excuse what I'm about to say. It doesn't excuse anything that she's done or said in the house or anything that she's done against Taylor. But we saw a lot more on the feeds than what we were shown on the show. I think the edit of the show last night didn't really make a lot of sense. It just seemed like she was like, I'm going to go take a nap. And then all of a sudden was out of the show. They didn't really do a good job. And I think they were probably trying to respect her privacy if this was something medical. But it just seems like she was not having an easy time in the house. It seems like maybe her mental health was a little bit in jeopardy. I'm not a psychologist and I'm not going to diagnose anybody, but it seemed like there was just something that was not okay. So whatever the case, I hope that she's okay. I hope that she got the help that she needs if there is help that is needed. But that does not excuse any of the racism or the bullying or, the witch hunting that she did of Taylor that was full of just microaggressions and, like I said, just racism in general and bullying. And I hope that once she gets back online, that she's able to reflect a little bit and understand why what she did and what she was spearheading was wrong. She's not the only one by any means. It's everybody in the house almost at this point, but it really did start with her. So, I think it sucks. I think it's interesting because she kind of put the structure all in place in the house. She built these alliances. She built the girls. She built Mamba, which is now not called Mamba anymore because of copyright issues. But she put all that together, and now she's just gone. So we'll see how it plays out and how they all stick together. But whatever, I wish her well. I hope she's okay, and I hope that she's able to reflect appropriately and learn from this experience and grow as a person, because what we saw was just ugliness. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully she reflects. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's interesting that you just brought it up. She actually also was a huge part of like setting the structure in the house and everything. And now that she's gone, it's kind of looking like Jasmine is kind of spearheading. Hey, let's carry on the will of Paloma. Tiffany needs to get out of here. Like I said, we'll break down the game portions of them a little bit later, but like if you're unaware, Jasmine's HOH right now. She really wants to get Taylor out once again, even though they've been going on about how they really want the guys gone. Diego, I mean, what is your thoughts on this? Why is the house so obsessed with Taylor?
Honestly, I think, like y'all have said this, Paloma was the foundation of all of this. She got all of this started. She was not the only one. Obviously, there was a lot of people, but I think it's week one. In week one, people will try to find whatever it is that you do and try to find an excuse to come after you, because they really don't have an excuse to go after you. So I think when this whole Paloma told Taylor that she wanted the guys out, and then Taylor, told Monty, and then they were like, oh, Taylor is lying. So then everybody found out about that. So it was very easy for everybody to just use that as an excuse to, be pretty much racist towards her. And it's been very disappointing to watch, but I am very happy Paloma's gone. I think the energy in the house is going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot less negative. And yeah, besides Jasmine, from what I've seen today, everybody seems to be like, why are we even coming for Taylor? Like she has nobody in the game. Like, why are we even looking at her? So I think Paloma leaving is going to help, all that Taylor bashing mob mentality.
Yeah, I definitely hope so, because, and this is why I want to ask Josanne. Going into this, I think a lot of people, at least in the fandom, was like, this cast isn't that great, but it seems like a lot of strong girls, right? And we kind of see this recurring theme within Big Brother that like the all girls alliances don't work out. Outside of like duos like Tiffany, Hannah, Allison, June, etc. But here it's interesting because there's an all girls alliance that's fueled to allegedly want to take out the guys, but for some reason they, for while Paloma was in the house, only wanted to target Taylor. So I'm Josanne. Is there is there a concrete reason why it seems that girls alliances don't work out in US Big Brother, and is there a way to fix that?
I think it just depends on the individuals at play. For an alliance called Girls, they sure aren't. It's a little ridiculous and crazy how that's the case. I think that there are individuals. There have been a lot of seasons where women who usually want to start this alliance, at the exception of Paloma, actually genuinely have good intentions and how they want to do the alliance. And it just seems like not every single woman is on the same page. But that's kind of the problem, I think, is because when you cast people, you're not casting every single same individual who's going to think the same. And that's why I feel like these girls' alliances don't work, because not all of the women are team women. Like that's the reality of the situation, and there's not much you can do about it. There will be one day, one season where there are a lot of strong women who can come in and connect together, but it's just when people are coming from different parts of life and they prioritize different things, and some of them care about male attention or male um like approval, or really think that they can't do anything without the men, then that becomes an issue. And we've seen women alliances work. We've seen in Survivor, Poverty, Suri, all of these women, iconic women, work together to the end and just eat down. So it's just unfortunate that we haven't seen it in the Big Brother house, but I think that has everything to do with casting and the choices. The day that they choose to cast women who will give that energy is the day we'll see that alliance. But until then, they haven't casted women like that. So it is what it is, unfortunately. Plus it can be a girls alliance, but when your premise and your backbone is to be girls, you can't then go and purposely exclude a woman. Like that makes no sense to me. So I don't really think that was a true and genuine girls alliance to begin with. And obviously it didn't take much for them to throw Brittany under the bus. So someone who was a part of their alliance. So I don't know. It's just not genuine.
I think a lot of it.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I think a lot of it also is internalized misogyny, right? Like these women see these men in the house and they're like, oh, well, the men are going to win comps and the men are strong and they just put the men on a pedestal. So then it becomes like the men are in charge automatically and the women feel like they're playing from behind. But that's really not the case. It's like almost like some of the women that they cast do this to themselves. And Josie, I think you're totally right. Like a women's alliance called the girls, but is excluding two women in the house. Like, who are these women to say that these other two women, Nicole and Taylor, are not girls and that they're less than them, or that they're not woman enough to be part of the girls lines? Like that to me right there is internalized misogyny. And neither of them are white. I don't know what Nicole's nationality is or her race is, but obviously Taylor is a black woman. So it's like that adds a whole other layer on top of it. And it's just so disappointing to see that like these recruits that they bring onto the show or these people that they cast, like just, it's just like they have these really negative qualities ingrained in them. And this is just something that we continuously see in Big Brother US. We saw it a little bit in Canada too. Like, let's not forget Jess's HOH, right? Let's not forget Kyle's. But Kyle's a man, obviously. Jess was non-binary. So it's like, I don't know. I don't really know how to fix it, but it's just not doing it, you know?
To your point about the excluding of like these two women, obviously Amira is also of color. I don't know what. Jasmine is also a black woman. Yep. But I think it has to do with the intersectionality of race and gender coming into play with that. You know, there are a lot of, unfortunately, women who stand up for feminism, and what they mean by that is white feminism and not necessarily feminism as a whole, as an entirety. Because if we're being real, the whole point of feminism is to be equal to like men. It's not to be better than men, to be worse, to belittle men. It's to be equal, to be treated equally, or equitably should be the right term. But you know, that's the conversation for another time. And so, you know, the choice of excluding these particularly dark-skinned women on the darker side of things from this alliance just really speaks to the characters of the leaders of the alliance, because you can't go in and then start being like, obviously you have to play the game too, but you can't come in and then someone set an alliance to be like, well, why is it that we're excluding? Not to say that someone would have done that in the first place, because some of the behavior being shown shows that they wouldn't have cared maybe. But why is it that these are the women you've chosen? Like, there was no really elaboration on that. They just, you know, kept pushing with that alliance. And obviously that alliance is crumbling because they're not even on the same page. So at this rate, honestly, I've never rooted against a women's alliance idea before in my life. But this season, it didn't take much. So I'm really over this alliance and I can care less. Hopefully we can have someone like Karen in another season, put two strong men from the beginning of the season and keep it pushing there. That's the energy we need to see. Not this let's backdoor Taylor. What? Anyways, weird.
All right. And lastly, before we get into the rankings and talking about each player individually, I also wanted to see, because Josanne was talking about this before the stream a little bit. We want to talk about the production side a little bit, because it's been messy over there. We're seeing the casting directors kind of calling each other and pointing fingers at each other. We're seeing today, all these other articles are kind of talking about the whole Big Brother situation. Big Brother has yet to speak up about it. We're seeing also, outside of that, alumni who kind of contributed to all this mess in previous seasons kind of like come out, try to get included into like articles and everything. And kind of like show solidarity for Taylor, even though it's like you didn't do that in your season. So what's up with the switch up? And then lastly, the host itself, kind of like trying to defend Paloma's actions and basically saying don't judge the players for the microaggressive comments that they made towards Taylor. It's a mess all around. I made this comment earlier this week on Twitter. I said, if you want U.S. Big Brother to succeed and make it great again, you're going to need to fire everybody from top to bottom and just start over. I mean, how do you guys feel about Julie, the casting directors, everybody that's not a player that's still kind of getting themselves involved with this mess?
I think this starts with the casting directors. Like they are like their job is to find people for the show, you know, and they like, I mean, I saw, for example, one of the casting producers reaching out to Kyle via DM back in November. Like they've been talking to these people. They've been doing this they had 7 months to find people, and this is the people that they find. Also, they were the casting producers before the cast came out. They were like, I'm just really nervous about the cast. I'm like, why are you nervous? You know, like you shouldn't be nervous. You know, if you did your job right, and if you are confident and proud of what you're presenting or giving us, you shouldn't have to feel nervous. So it starts with that. I agree. Yeah, I think like CBS needs to just like sell the rights of Big Brother and let another production company take over and do the show from scratch. I think it's ridiculous that they thought it was a good idea to send Julie to defend them. Like she pretty much said, like, the microaggressions are okay because Taylor doesn't know that they are saying those microaggressions about her. Like if you ask, she said, if you ask Taylor, she doesn't know about this, so that makes it okay. I was like, are they serious? Like it seems like they simply don't give a crap about the show. They just simply don't care. They're just putting it out there because they know people are going to watch. They know millions of people watch it and they profit off of it, and I think they're just doing it for the money.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's kind of frustrating because at least if you look at these other TV shows, right? Like TJ Lavin has like a say with a lot of the stuff that goes on with the challenge. Jeff Probst, same with Survivor. Arissa with Big Brother Canada. There's a reason why Julie isn't in like a position of power. You know what I'm saying? Like she blatantly is that like she doesn't have her other talk shows anymore. At this point, this is kind of like her last stand to kind of have like a hosting job or anything like that. And I'm looking at the comment in the chat, Joseph. He said not excusing Julie, but when she did those interviews, I don't think she had the full tea on what's going on. Unlike Arissa, is not that a secret that Julie doesn't watch feeds. That's an issue because I feel like if you're the host of a TV show, if you're going to be representing them and you're going to go on these like platforms and publicly like defend actions for people, you should at least know what you're talking about. You know, like
Exactly.
I'm not gonna go let's say there's something political going on. I'm not going to go on a podcast and talk about it if I don't know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying? So you know, she needs to learn from this. This isn't the first time she's done something like this. You know, I'm a Christian too, but you can't just say rely on God. That's not the answer for everything. You can't just let people have a slap on the wrist. It's not a good look. Go ahead, Kitty.
I want to give Josie the last word on this because I know she's going to drag Julie, so I want her to have the stage. So I'm just going to give my opinion, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to Josie because I know she's going to do the work for all of us here. But I think you guys are right, but I think it goes beyond casting. Like this is all the way up to Allison Grodner and the production company in charge, down to casting, down to Julie, down to the producers that are in the DR, down to the people that are editing the show together. It's a collective issue. We can say we need a cast that's 50% diverse or 50% people of color, but that's not enough. Like that's not doing enough because you're bringing the people into the house and you're putting them into a situation that's not healthy for them. It's not safe for them. We're still casting problematic white people to offset the people of color that you're bringing into the house. So it just perpetuates the issue even more. And I don't know what the cast necessarily, I mean, what the producers necessarily look like, but my assumption is that none of them are diverse. We know what Alison Groder looks like. We know she's not diverse. Julie Chen is a woman of color, but she is so, we should not be relying on a woman whose husband was removed from a network for sexually harassing and, I don't know, potentially assaulting. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know how far the harassment went, if it crossed the line into assault or not with Les Moonves, but he was removed from the show or from the network for a reason. And then this woman, Julie Chen, who's still our host, started to use his last name after he was removed. Why do we think that she's not standing up for what's right? I don't know. That should have been our first tip off that we can't rely on this woman. So for her to be given a very clear script to go onto these talk shows and to have these interviews with Mike Bloom and Sharon Tharp and go on E! News and whatever else and just repeat the same thing over and over again of microaggressions happen and we know that they're not okay, but sometimes you don't even know that you're doing them. It's not an excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse. It's the year 2022. We cannot be continuously excusing people and their problematic behavior and their microaggressions and their bullying behavior. It's just like, why are we giving them a pass? And then she comes out and says, oh, well, Twitter is actually the mob mentality and it's not the people in the house. Like, no, we are holding people accountable. Yes, Twitter is problematic in some ways, right? But not everybody. A lot of people are making a lot of good points and calling attention to things that need attention to be called. So we're doing the job that production should be doing in some cases by digging into some of these people and realizing that they have problematic pasts. We're holding them accountable for their actions inside the house. And if it weren't for Twitter and Reddit and even Facebook in this case, like, where would we be? I mean, there would be no outrage. There would be no comment. You wouldn't even have to go on TV and address it because you would just brush it under the rug. And that's not appropriate.
Josie, are you there? I see your camera like froze. She froze perfectly.
What an iconic frozen image for Josie. And I hope she comes back soon because I'm dying to hear her
She'll be back.
Julie.
She'll be back when her connection fixes. But
this is this is an iconic.
It's a perfect place to but yeah, it's really unfortunate just to see such a great show just drop in quality so much. Like I don't think I haven't avoided Big Brother for this long. Like I didn't really watch any of the episodes until yesterday because I needed context for like the eviction. But I avoided feeds. I avoided the show, and I literally just watched strictly just on Twitter. And I'm not used to doing stuff like that. Just saw the spoilers for who's nominated. We'll talk about that once we get to it. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate. And I just hope that they get their act together. I've been very anti Allison. I try to pick my words carefully because just in case I can get on to like the media or anything for this in the future. But it is what it is. I don't really care. Allison, you need to get your act together. So Josanne is back. I'm going to let her in and let her say her piece real quick. You froze perfectly with your glasses.
In the perfect, iconic pose, Josie.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't know my Wi-Fi was going to do that. It just randomly turns off. Okay. I echo everything Katie said, but let's get down to business. First of all, I would like to state that I am a Christian. Okay. So everything I'm going to say, I have backs to fact it up. And if I have to get my freaking Bible, I will. Okay. So let's just clear that up right now before I drag her. The thing is that no one holding people accountable on Twitter is not judging. No one has ever had the right to judge people. I don't encourage judging people, and I don't sit on my platform and judge people. I can criticize and give my opinion, but at the end of the day, I don't know these people outside of the house and what they do in their business. But I can comment on the gameplay that I'm seeing. And what I am seeing is that this game that revolves around aspects, of reality, mimicking real life, it's a social interactive game that has these relevant topics about this social experiment, like race, like gender, like whatever else, sexuality, whatever it may be, religion. These things have always had implications in the game. So to sit there and act like they never have is a false, bullfed lie. So we're not going to sit here and act like because Twitter is holding people accountable that they're judging them. That they have every right to hold people accountable when they see behavior that should not be acceptable. There is no way in real life I'm going to sit by and let someone throw microaggressions to me or any of my friends or anybody on twitter.com. I don't care if it has to do with Big Brother, Survivor, reality TV in real life. There is no way in hell that I'm going to be a passive bystander as a Black woman, let someone judge someone else like they have with Taylor, which is what she's condemning. There's no way I'm going to let someone judge someone else based on something that they cannot control. First of all, I'm not in the place to be judging, but in that circumstance, she can't change the fact that she's Black. She can't change the fact that she has to deal with these stereotypes being called aggressive. This girl has done nothing. And these people are like, well, I was afraid to pick her for backstage because I was afraid that she would she'd be loud, aggressive. These are stereotypes that you've based because she's Black. If she looked like Paloma or Palm Beach, Palm Bay, you guys would not be saying that. Let's be real. So Julie Chen is quite ignorant. And as a woman of color, she has no place to talk about microaggressions. Because if the tables were reversed and people were saying microaggressions towards Julie Chen, I am 100% sure that Twitter would be backing her up and she would have nothing else to say about it. She has, and the thing is that, for example, for historical background, BB15, Candace had been dealing with racism the entire time. It wasn't until Helen was also getting those same lashings that she stood up and said something. Let's be real, because that's her people. I defend everyone, regardless of race, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, whatever it may be, because I understand that we're all human beings. And that is not the message that she is pretending to preach. Because if that was the message she would be preaching and she was actually acting upon it, she would make sure that the house guests knew that they should treat all of them with love. All of them, including Taylor. But that is not the point that she's making. Instead, because we're holding her accountable and the media is talking about it, it's a mob mentality. Girl, what the mob mentality is what is happening in the house. So don't be a hypocrite and act like Twitter has no right to hold people accountable when everything that you're talking about, judging, mob mentality, microaggressions, all of that is being exhibited in the house, and you're sitting there sipping your tea, making mistakes on live national TV. Sorry, not sorry. Production needs to do better, because we just had Davon release a video talking about her mistreatment, not in regards to just her race, but also the fact that she was a woman, and how some player, I'm not going to give him the clout, some player was treating her and harassing her inappropriately, and production stood there and did nothing. All of, like Isaiah, like I think it was Katie said, all of them are the issue. Every single person in this chain is the problem. Production allowing this behavior to continue when we have now condemned them several different times on Twitter, on social media outlets, and they still justify it and give this edit to Taylor and manipulate the situation when we have the receipts in front of us. It's just ridiculous. All of them can go. Hot garbage. I will only be watching to report on it, but I will not sit here and be silent and let Miss Julie Chen try to use Christianity as an excuse and labeling the behavior. Just like I'm not going to sit here and let them use mental health as an excuse for Paloma's behavior. Let's be real. You can talk about the fact that there are external activities that have maybe altered Paloma's gameplay, just like race has played a part in Taylor's game. Let's not be stupid. Let's open our eyes. Let's open our minds. Let's use our brain cells, even if it's just one. Let's use that one brain cell and think quickly, because it's ridiculous. It's quite honestly dumbfounding that the representative of Big Brother, Julie Chen, has now spoken out and enabled to continue this behavior when CBS wants to push this 50% BIPOC narrative. It's ridiculous. I'll stop here. But I could keep going. But yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's
I also wanted to mention, because I almost forgot about it. I didn't like the move either, where magically an article comes out where like, oh, Julie has mentioned to production that they should do an all-winner season. I was like, y'all really trying to distract people from this?
Yeah,
like,
they
this
are.
is kind of crazy. It was bad, man. It was bad. So,
and she goes so far as to call us hypocrites, by the way. Us being Twitter and the fandom and the people who just want this show to be better.
Yeah. We didn't forget that you sent a Bible to Kevin either. That wasn't a good, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
And Kaser.
But anyway, we move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we could go on for a while. But we're 30 minutes in. We haven't even done this ranking yet. So if you're curious how what kind of energy we're coming with this season of Big Brother, that's your preview for it. But we don't want to be sitting here for 2 hours, so let's move on because I also have some thoughts about these players. Because listen,
Let's
I
use
have
that
some
term
issues.
loosely.
Yeah. So here we go. This is our first.
Sorry,
This
Paloma
is
being
our
eliminated. Yeah,
yeah
it's what
yeah.
deserved.
This is our first ranking of the Big Brother 24 cast. If you haven't been here before, we've done plenty of these already, but basically at every single podcast, we rank every single player, going from S to F. S meaning that you're the best, F meaning you are hot garbo. So basically we're going to fill this out, and then every single podcast we will adjust it accordingly up until we have the winner, who eventually will probably be high tier, I hope, but it's not guaranteed.
I'm gonna
um
go with no.
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we can get started. Perfect party to start with. We got this week's HOH, Jasmine. Jasmine, I'm very curious how she won this because she hurt her ankle. She was nothing but like kind of like a lap dog for Paloma, if I'm gonna be honest with you. And she's kind of like hypnotized to the point where like she's still kind of carrying on the will of Paloma, still wants Taylor out. And as Adrienne, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, said in the chat, spoiler alert. But we have Taylor and Pooch as this week's nominations. So Taylor is back on the block, and it seems like they actually put Pooch up because there seems to be a distaste for him. I'm kind of side note. It has nothing to do with their game. I'm really disappointed in players like Jasmine and Monty and Amira a little bit. I'm just like just coming off of the whole season where we just had like this whole black empowerment, just to see like a lot of the ones coming here just kind of like completely against anything black, even comments today. I heard Jasmine and Monty speaking about like, I'm not putting anyone else black up just after Taylor. I'm not doing it ever again. It's like, that's strange, but okay. Anyway, what's everyone's opinions on Jasmine's game here, outside of the personal, or if you want to talk about the personal, do what you got to do. But how are we feeling about Jasmine's game? Where do we want to put her? Are these nominations correct? Katie.
No, these nominations are not correct. There's absolutely no reason that Taylor should be on the block other than Jasmine's jealousy or whatever. Again, internalized misogyny. I just don't know where she's coming from here with this hate. It's giving me real like Paloma is Cappy energy, and they're just like building a shrine to Paloma in the HOH room, and now she has to carry out the will of Paloma. Like, I don't get it. I do not understand Jasmine's frame of mind. She feels like from the inside out, she feels evil to me. Like, I just feel like she's carrying out evil in this house, and I don't understand it. I don't know how she won HOH. Like you said, Isaiah, she sprained her ankle. I don't know what the second half of the competition was. Maybe there's controversy that maybe she touched the ground, maybe she didn't. The camera angles were a little wonky, so we really couldn't see, but we did see that confetti move. So I don't know. It was the air. I don't know.
I feel like she touched it. Yeah.
She touched
I
it.
don't know.
Let's be honest. She touched it.
It looked like she did. But again, Julie says they ran the tape back, but it did sound like in the episode Julie was about to say, well, but then she took it back because her ankle was hurt. So it sounded like she was about to say something and then didn't. So I'm ready to see what the next half of this competition is. She nominated Pooch because Pooch offered to go on the block as a pawn to backdoor Taylor, but the other people in the house want Pooch gone. So even Amira, who was also co-leader of the Taylor hate train, is saying, why don't we just not take out Taylor and take out Pooch? Like, why are we taking out Taylor? I think, Diego, you mentioned it earlier of like, she has no one in the house. Like, there's really no reason to take her out. And poor Taylor is bringing this woman ice packs in the HOH room. She's taking care of her because of her hurt ankle. And has the nerve to say, come up here in 5 minutes so you can cut my conversation off with Taylor. Like, there's something wrong with her. I don't know what it is, but like, I give her enough. She's blinded by the hate and the jealousy.
Josanne.
It takes a real mean-spirited person to put Taylor on the block after she has catered to you, cared for you. Yeah, no, it's just a little wicked to me. Sorry, not sorry. I said what I said. She is bottom of the tier. Girl, what? Let's be real and let's be honest. If that competition gives you a sprained ankle, wait until you have to deal with the endurance comps that are 5 hours long, where you have to slip and slide through back and forth. You're targeting Taylor when there are bigger men to fry. I'm sorry, the math isn't mathing. If girls girl is your real alliance, which it should be technically, because you're not a part of that other six mom bun jumba nonsense. So these people should be, the men should be who you should be taking care of, because Taylor has literally bent over backwards to cater to you this entire time, which shows that she cares. I personally, it could be a little bit of game. I'm a game player, so I would kind of use that to my advantage. But Taylor just seems like a genuine good person. So I feel like she was doing this out of the kindness of her heart. And for you to just go around and put her on the block because you're a little jealous, girl, get a grip on reality. There's no way in hell you're winning this game if that's how you're moving from this point on in week 2. It don't take a genius to realize that. Yeah, no, it's not giving. Garbage. Diego, I don't know how you feel, but
I think she has no brain of her own. The only thing she can think of is, hate on Taylor. That's literally all that's on her brain. Like she has no strategic mind. I don't see her doing good at all in the game moving forward. The only reason I wouldn't agree with her necessarily being an F is because I really don't think people are going to waste an HOH on her. Like, who is going to waste an HOH getting Jasmine out? Especially now that she hurt her ankle. Now we know that she's even on a little thing like Christmas was using on BB19 on a scooter. So it's like, now she looks all physically hurt too. So like nobody's going to want to get her out. I see her sliding by in the game, but not because of her own merits. So she's definitely an F.
All right. I agree. I mean, I don't know if this is true. Allegedly, the second half was like a eating contest or something.
I heard it was luck based on
Luck
Twitter.
based.
I
Okay.
heard something about like pie eating and slime.
I don't know.
Of course, let me not say that. I was gonna say this country girl, eating the pie, whatever. Like, really,
Yeah.
really, that's the.
Yeah.
I'm sick of. Okay, let me pause for a second. These competitions so far, utter garbage. What is happening? What is happening? A jewelry comp? You have these people on t-shirts hanging there on for dear life, and someone has to put some piercings on their eyebrows. Enough.
Josie, this is the BB festival.
Bring Trevor Boris from Big Brother Canada. Put him on, because these competitions are utter garbage. This is foolishness. How is it that we are having competitions where someone with their ankle being sprained is winning? It's giving Christmas running challenge, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see her in final 3 because she has a scooter. Fuck it. No.
I mean, here's the worst part. Everyone threw it at Christmas. No one threw it to Jasmine this time. So.
Well, I heard Michael threw the HOH this week, so because he felt like it was too early and he wanted to risk his game. And last week, everybody was talking about how they did not want to win this HOH. So I would not be surprised if it was thrown to her. But let me ask a question. How did this lady sprain her ankle by just stepping on the ground? What happened? I watched it like 16 times and I do not know. It's like she took a slow step and then she just tumbled. Like, I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I have trust issues, but like I don't believe her. I'm like, she's
I don't believe her
making it
either.
up. Like
she's scooting down the stairs on her butt. She can't even get up and hop down with her good leg. I don't understand what's going on here. What is going on here?
No.
It's giving theatrics.
It is giving theatrics.
There we go. I mean, look, maybe she's doing something right because she got 2 people to want to volunteer just to get Taylor out. So, hey, who knows? Watch Jasmine become the next Big Brother great. Who knows? But there you go.
Not on my watch.
Wash your mouth out with soap.
All right. So the next person is Amira. Amira is kind of not in a bad spot. She's like she's connected with the guy. She's in the 6-person line. She's also connected with the girls. Now that Paloma's gone, she's kind of like having an opinion of her own, sorta. We're getting there. It seems. Do we know who her closer allies are? Does anyone know that? Because Katie, I know you've
Alyssa?
been watching feeds. Yeah, I mean, Alyssa sort of,
I
she's
think
just kind of
the
there.
Mamba, not Mamba anymore alliance is probably her closest
Yeah,
crew right now.
I would agree.
Okay. I mean, Diego, how you feeling about Mira?
I mean, obviously, like, I mean, everybody in the house, in some way or another, has been part of the Taylor hate train. But besides that, on Amira, I think she has a lot of brains. Like, I mean, she works at Google. Like, I'm not sure what she does, but she has a lot of potential in my eyes. I think she's set very well in the house. She's very set in that Mamba Bleep alliance. And she's also very well set with the girls. So I really don't see anybody coming for her. I like the way she thinks about the game. I like how now that Paloma's gone, she was able to be like, why are we even coming for Taylor? Like, we don't need to get her out. Like, there's bigger threats in here. And she's able to acknowledge that she needs Taylor in a way because she's aligned with so many people. She needs somebody to come after those people. And she's able to realize that. So I have a lot of faith in her. I think she can go very far. The only problem that I see with her is that she can talk a lot and she can spill a lot of information. So that's a red flag. But I think she's one of the better players that we have this season. So I mean, between an A and a B, because I think she's one of the best so far.
Okay, Josanne.
Yeah, on a personal level, she disappointed me. I just feel like you look different. I feel like her life experience, I don't know her personally, traveling around the world, she's definitely had some treatment regarding how she looks. So the fact that this is how she's chosen to execute her season is a choice. Obviously she's getting after the men. Yay, some common sense for once. Hello, this is a competition game. Like, these videos, these HOHs, what's not clicking? Honestly, what's not clicking to a lot of these house guests? I'm glad that she's the only one tapping into the common sense this season. But yeah, it's very strange that she's one of the only people who wants to target the men. I'm glad that she's woken up and realized that Taylor is not coming after her. So why come after her? And I'm glad that she's pushing this Pooch narrative. Honestly, get rid of him. Boring. Next. I think if she gets rid of Pooch, she can really solidify herself in a strong position in the house. It's just how she moves forward. Like, as Diego said, like, she needs to listen more than speak. She's in a position that needs to listen more than speak. And so I hope she taps into that type of common sense as well. But yeah, I think she has really good potential. I'm just disappointed slightly in the beginning of her trajectory of this game, but we move.
All right. Do you agree with Diego with like a B or a A?
No, I would give her B because the personal outweighs how I feel about everyone right now. It's too fresh for me to be
Okay, and that's
critical.
fine.
And I agree with Josie. She's disappointed me as well. I think coming in, and Diego, I think you're right. She's smart. It seems like she has a really good head on her shoulders, but she was just focusing her energy in a really negative place. And she does talk a lot. And I think someone has clocked her early on, and I think it was Nicole, who was like, she says things, but I don't know where they're coming from. And I just feel like, she was always coming up and trying to like make Daniel do her dirty work a little bit, which like Daniel, we'll talk about Daniel. But, I think Nicole is kind of like clocking her on that a little bit. And Nicole's going to sit back and I think kind of like visualize it and see what's going on here. But I think if there's any downfall for Amira, it's going to be Nicole, probably, if Nicole stays on the trajectory that she's on. But I do think she has a good game sense. And if she can get Jasmine under control and she can kind of start moving some of these pieces around, and it doesn't seem like she's blinded by the Cappy Paloma of it all like Jasmine is. Like, I think she'll do well. But I agree. I don't know that I would give her an A or even a B at this point, just because it's so early.
All
And
right.
the house
It's
is a
early
mess.
days.
I'm also curious to see what happens with that whole Monty and Brittany situation. Since Brittany snitched on her, and then now she knows. I want to see
Yeah.
what she does. But yeah. All right. So we got last week's HOH. Daniel, damn Daniel, like you took an L, man. What a flop HOH here for
F for
Daniel.
flop.
Yeah, and it's he sort of got screwed over by production a little. I mean, Paloma. I'm sorry, Paloma leaving, I'm not gonna lie, kind of screwed his whole week up because all three people he nominated are still in the game. They ain't going to forget that. I don't think Taylor's forgetting that. I don't think Terrence is forgetting that, and I don't think Michael or Michael. Yes, I don't think Michael's going to forget that either. So I think that's going to come back and bite him one of these days. But obviously, that's not happening this week because we got Jasmine as the HOH. Josanne, how do you feel about Daniel?
How do I feel about him? He gives nothing. He serves nothing. For someone who's a super fan, he don't act like it. Sorry, not sorry. I think first of all, the hair pisses me off. But aside from that, as a player, how is it that all three of your people are left? First of all, let's be real. Let's say hypothetically, Brittany is safe. Taylor has to compete against someone. Did y'all not see how Taylor just dog walked that HOH? I'm pretty sure that was the initial competition. We don't know if that's true, but she dog walked everyone daily. She hung on there for dear life. If she had to go against Alyssa, which she did, or Paloma, she would have ate, and he still would have had one of his allies to go. So honestly, it was going to be bad for him anyways. So I don't feel bad. That production was like psych because it was probably going to happen anyways. That aside from that point, he has a terrible people skills management. Why is it that during your speech you have to tell Taylor that she needs to apologize? To what, to who, to where? It has nothing to do with you. As HOH, just in case she may stay, you need to manage that relationship. I know that it's not jury, but at the same time, you have to expect the unexpected. That's the whole point of the show. And so for you to start throwing things out there left or right, acting a mess, acting a fool, and for this to be the reproduction, and all three people that you put on the block are still here, you have now given them an excuse to put you up, namely Taylor, who could win a competition and put you on the block. It is actually dumbfounding to me that someone who claims to be a super fan moves this way when it comes to managing his nominations. Terribly executed.
Yeah, also Diego, I'm curious because I think he also managed his alliances terribly as well. Usually you see the HOH leave at least with like one alliance. Like I don't think he even left with any this week. Is that right?
Yeah, he made nothing besides his little final two with Nicole. He didn't get anything out of people. Like he was just kind of like giving his opinion, and obviously people were agreeing with him because it's week one. Who is going to tell him no, you're wrong? Like horrible HOH, like y'all said, F for flop. His three nominees are still in the house. Like I also, like as a super fan, I really don't like when super fans come into the game talking this big game and they're like, oh, I don't vibe with the bros, I don't like big men, and then you come into the house and that's not what you do. Like you like no, then don't say that you're gonna do all of this if you're not going to. Like no, I think it was a completely horrible HOH. Now we know that Paloma created this 6-person alliance. Now that Paloma's gone, we saw in the feeds last night that they brought Nicole to replace Paloma in this 6-person alliance. Nicole told that to Daniel and was like, hey, I'm in this 6-person alliance now. So even he was like, well, I'm fucked then. But he's still not doing anything about it. Like he knows about this. He had since last night. He's known all night, all today, and he hasn't done anything about it. I haven't seen him try to manage his relationship with Michael, with Taylor. Like he's not doing anything. Like, bro.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that he would respond with saying, "Bruh." You know, I don't know. Katie, how you feel about Daniel?
I agree with what Josie and Diego have said so far. This was, I think, one of the all-time, maybe it wasn't as messy as a lot of these HOHs, although it was pretty messy. One of the all-time worst HOHs. He came out with no power structure around him whatsoever. Even a fake one. Like, not even anybody pledging loyalty to him. It's just like, yeah, the big, strong men got to stick together or whatever. Like, nobody was promising this man anything. So it's like, you know, he brought people up into the HOH room. He spoke to them. He said, I want to put up these two people. What do you think? He wasn't asking for anybody's opinion. He really just like imparted his will. He did the house's dirty work. They were using him and pulling his strings like a puppet. It was a mess. And he just did it and then carried out this hateful mess against Taylor, just like everybody else, and was also being racist against her throughout the whole week. And for what? She's still there, like you said. Michael's still there and Terrence is still there. And Josi, I think you said it perfectly. That was always a possibility. It has nothing to do with production. There was always a possibility that a backstage person was going to go home. So why are you still, even if you're putting these people up on the block, like why aren't you managing these relationships a little bit better? Because they could come back. They could all still stay here. And I think, one of the worst things is now that he knows about the 6-person alliance, you know who else isn't in the 6-person alliance? Jasmine. So why aren't you up in the motherfucking HOH room saying, hey, guess what? There's a 6-person alliance. You're not in it. I'm in it. You know who's in it? These people. Nicole told me about it. She's cool. She's like, she's a rat. She's ratting them out to us. But like, we got to do something about this. Your girls thing, not real. Or gathering the other people in the house and telling every other person, Monty's in this alliance, Kyle's in this alliance, Michael's in this alliance. All of these people are in this alliance and they're working against us to get us out. So we need to band together and get them out instead. He's doing nothing. So what kind of super fan are you?
Katie, let me just say this real quick. To your point, the reason why I feel like he hasn't done anything of the sorts is because I think, honestly, he is not used to being a part of the boys. Like the boys, the big not. Tough boys, blah, blah, blah. And I think it stems from a place of insecurity. Now, I'm no psychologist, no therapist, no nothing. I have my degree in communications. That's it. But I'm not blind and I'm not oblivious. And I feel like he thought that in coming into the house, these boys were not going to give him the time of day. And that's why he bucked up preseason talking about, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go after the big boys. Even though in reality, he just wants to be a part of them. He wants to be a part of that group. So to me, overall, it just seems like what has happened is that he is sad that he is not getting a part of this group, but he doesn't want to ruin it because he wants to be a part of the boys and he wants to work his way in instead of being a smart, logical player and getting them out, which is quite unfortunate. Let's stop putting super fans in the house that don't do nothing. Let's stop that. Enough.
Yep. Totally agreed. Totally agree.
Well, there you go. I think Daniel is worse than Jasmine.
Yeah, flop.
Yeah.
He's terrible. He's last.
Yeah.
At least Jasmine is in an alliance.
Yeah. Not good.
Yep.
Not good at all.
He's another one crying, sobbing about Paloma. What?
Like she
What are you talking about saying that's my sister? Hello, she's alive. Exactly.
Man.
Go talk to her outside the house. Relax.
You
Literally, you just met her. You just met her.
I don't know if this makes me a bitch, but to be honest, I am an emotional person. I cry at commercials. You will not ever see me in a house cry over someone for 2 days. 2 days. 2 days. No. Let's be real. Why are we crying like she died? This is not a funeral service. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Well, they prayed like it was.
Which was my God. Monty leading the prayer. Monty, stand up.
Wait for it. This cast is something else. All right. We got a lot of people to get through. 52 minutes in. Okay. Next person is Michael. Michael nominated last week, but one veto. And I think Michael is kind of on an upward trajectory. I think people are going to start taking Michael a little bit serious. Michael got invited to the 6-person alliance, and Michael instantly knew that he was like, I'm the 6th invited. I'm going to say yes now, but I ain't going to forget that. So, Michael seems to be a little aware. I don't know who's his closest ally currently. Is anyone hip to that right now? Or
I think it's Kyle right now. Actually, it was Brittany, but Brittany's being a little messy, and he's been in the have not room with Kyle for the past week, and they've had some pretty quiet game talks.
Interesting.
So they have a low key thing going on.
All right. I mean, how are we feeling about Michael's game? I think that veto win was good for him, and I think people are going to back off of him. I think they were trying to force him into that. He's that Cameron. If you remember Cameron from Big Brother 17, I think they were trying to force him into that spot. But he kind of just. I said 17. That was Big Brother 19. Anyway, he completely was like, nope, I'm not doing that. You're not making me a block star. Come at me. So, Josi, how you feel? No, wait, Josi, you went last. I'm sorry. Katie. Katie, how you feel about Michael?
As much as I want to say I'm disappointed in Michael because I think he did partake in some of it. Yeah, we have to understand that some of these people are in the house and they were trying to preserve their games, and they may be acting in a way that we don't appreciate against people like Taylor because they're afraid that they're going to become the next house pariah. But I think if we put that aside, which I think we can all still say we're disappointed and we wanted better for Michael specifically, because he is a true super fan. We know that he plays orgs, we know that he plays LRGs, you know, we know that he's in this community and understands what goes on. But I think putting that aside, I think he's done a great job this week, going from bottom to middle to now close to the top. I mean, people were talking about having him throwing him the HOH this week because they wanted him to put up Turner and Pooch, but nobody else wanted to risk their game to do that. And he was like, yeah, I'll do that. But then he actually ended up saying that he threw the HOH because he knows that it's not a good position right now for him. He doesn't want to jeopardize himself. I think he did a great job ingraining himself. I think he's making really good relationships. I think he's keeping Brittany as an ally, even though he doesn't necessarily trust her 100% because she is being, I don't know what she's doing. She's being messy. And I think he's doing a really good job. I think, you know, I think his pairing with Kyle, I don't think they've made a final two or anything. Maybe they have, but I think that's an interesting thing to watch because they're both very even keel. They're both very chill. And I think they're observant, both of them. And if they stick together, I think they could really parlay that into something pretty strong. So I think Michael's doing great. He did great in the competition last night too. We got a little celebration from him. It was fun. You know, what would Janelle do? I like Michael. Like I said, I want a little more from him, like from a personal standpoint, because I think he should know better on some of these things. But at a certain point, it's like, okay, when can you stand up and when is it going to impact your game negatively? So not an excuse, but you know, I think that's probably where he's coming from. So I think Michael's doing a good job.
Josi.
Yeah. To me, no, I'm not comparing him to this player, but I just feel like it's the same trajectory. He's giving very Kevin from last season. Love Kevin. Shout out to Kevin. I just think that immediately I looked at him and I went, yeah, he has a long-term chance of winning. Because he just like, I feel like could integrate very easily, more so than other people, on several different levels. And so he was definitely high on my stock market, and he's proven that he can win a veto. And during the HOH comp, he was quick too. And I think it's important, you know, sometimes a lot of players don't want to show how physically fit they are or how they can maneuver the competition side of the game. But I think when people who are in a position like Michael was, you have to kind of show that you have that the aptitude to potentially win a competition so people can take you more seriously and not be in risk of being a block star like we talked about Cameron. So I think he's done everything he needs to do, and I love that he's self-aware. I think that's the most important part of the game. A lot of these people are not self-aware, and that will be their downfall. And the fact that he comes in and he finds out about the alliance and he realizes, hey, I'm being the last to be asked. I'm the last on the totem pole. That's the logical thinking that we need to see from some of these players, which is quite missing in a lot of these players. He's using the common sense. And he's actually using it in a way that doesn't upset me. So I'm very happy about that. All in all, it's a thumbs up for me, aside from the personal. But you know, I agree. I echo Katie's sentiments.
And where I forgot to ask you two, but where are we putting him? Because I feel like at least if it were me, in Diego, you can chip in because you haven't been able to speak either. I would put Michael above Amira, but I don't know if that's a hot take or not.
No, I would agree. I think Michael, I mean, I would even go to say that Michael is probably the best positioned person in the house just because he's getting information from like all sides. You know, like Brittany's coming and giving him information. Amira gives him information. You have Kyle giving him information. Like he's getting stuff from everywhere. And like y'all said, he thinks he's very self-aware. So he knows how to make good decisions. Like, for example, when he was told that Brittany ratted out Amira, he was very good at approaching Brittany and be like, hey, to approach Brittany and be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't trust Pooch so much. Just so you know, like everything that you say to Pooch is going to come out, to try to see Brittany would, spill the information. So he has very good, I guess, social tactics of trying to get stuff from people. I would think he's probably the best player so far.
All right.
Yeah, I think he's
You,
equal to Amira right now. I think they're both playing really strong games. I would probably put him a touch above because I feel like maybe Amira's a little too out there and people kind of see what she's doing, where Michael, I think,
yeah.
is playing a little more behind the scenes. I love the comparison to Kevin Josi. Shout out to Kevin, our friend of the pod.
Mhm.
I hope that he can pull it off like Kevin did and operate throughout the chaos.
Yeah. I think Michael knows how to listen and then just keep quiet. Like he doesn't just start spilling everything out on like Amira sometimes.
All right, next person we're talking about is, I believe her name, I'm still Nicole. Thank you. I'm still remembering. Nicole. So okay, so Nicole seems like a presence that a lot of people like. Like you guys just said, she got invited to that 6-person alliance to replace Paloma. I think Nicole is her closest ally. Seems to be Daniel. I don't know if that's the right call, but I mean, look,
Yeah, they have a
do what you
final
got to
two.
do. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think a lot of, if anyone is really like threatened by Nicole right now, I think there might have been one night where like I remember her name kind of came up as like someone to look out for, but I don't think that really went anywhere. So and that was amongst the guys. So how do we feel about Nicole? Diego.
I love Nicole so far. I really like that she was also able to acknowledge, why are we even coming for Taylor? Even last week, a little bit, she was even like, I really don't understand why we're doing all of this. So I like that. I also think that now that Paloma is gone, she can really kind of like take control over Daniel. And I could see her just manipulating him very easily. I know she has the ability to, because she was a cop. So I know she has some of that killer instinct. I can see her manipulating Daniel. I can see Daniel just doing whatever she says. Uh, she's very good position. She's also able to acknowledge that she needs Taylor in the game to go against, the people that she's aligned with, and now that 6-person alliance that she's part of. I really like what I'm seeing from Nicole. I think she's definitely one to look out for.
You like what you're seeing from Nicole too, Katie?
Yeah, and I'm actually keeping my eye on Twitter right now to see what's going on in the feeds, and I'm liking even more now what I'm seeing from Nicole because her and Amira, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from Amira as well. Just to take a quick step back, because they're both now talking about a plan to backdoor Monty, and they want to bring Taylor into a 3. So they want Taylor to stay. They want to backdoor Monty. They're working together, and I'm loving it. I think if these 3 women can come together and actually put something together where they're taking these men out and they're actually identifying who the targets in the house are, give it to me. This is what we want. Let these 3. Well, Amira, we know we're disappointed, but I think Nicole also is one that this whole time she was like, why are we going after Nicole? I mean, why are we going after Taylor? She did say some shitty things about Taylor about like, oh, she said something about doing the dishes or whatever. She was complaining about house chores and stuff, and she was part of it, the mob mentality for sure. But I think after a certain point, she was like, her and Alyssa kind of both were like, are we doing this for no reason? Or why are we targeting Taylor? It seemed like she was kind of coming around to the idea of like, this doesn't seem like it's a good idea. And it does seem like she's clocking a lot of people. She's well insulated now in the house and that she's part of the 6-person alliance. Obviously she's not loyal to them. And obviously neither is Amira because they're talking about backdooring Monty, which I'm loving. So I like what I'm seeing from Nicole. I think she's got, like you said, Diego, she's definitely got a killer instinct. She's a little bit cutthroat. I like it. She's part of the rogue rats with Daniel, which means like she's willing to be a rat and she doesn't care. And I like a rat that knows that they're a rat. I don't like a rat that thinks they're a floater, but I like a rat that knows they're a rat. So give it to me. I'm here for it.
Josie, that sounds like a good plan. Does it have a chance to backfire if she includes Daniel in this plan? Because Daniel wants to be a guy so bad, the guy's guy. He wants to work with the bros. Is this going to backfire? Is this actually going to happen?
You see, one can only hope. Here's the thing. This cast, it's actually quite shocking to me how the common sense is not there. So praise that Nicole's finally getting it together for me. I think if Nicole sits down as his final 2 and just works on him, because honestly, it's stemming from a place deeper than BB, to be honest with you. But if she works on him enough, brainwashes him just enough, I think it can work. So one can only hope. But on a general note, Nicole was definitely casted to be the Derek archetype, and unfortunately, while Derek is a good player, he ruined Big Brother. And the way that we play it, which is a massive 6-person alliance, which is disgusting. No shade. He's again great player, but because of that, he has ruined the game. And so people who are the Derek archetypes immediately go on the negative for me because I don't want to see it. I don't want it. We had BB16. It doesn't have to be a repeat and a replica, a duplication of the BB16. So I was kind of feeling like on the nervous end of things. But I clearly see that she's an outsider with everything that is happening in the house. And so it's making me empathize with her slightly. It's giving kind of the little Toya edit for me, personally, how I felt before the season versus during the season. And so I'm glad that she is actually making sense. She's planning moves. She's speaking, manifesting moves that make sense. That makes sense. Common sense again. It's a theme, y'all. Some of these players do not have common sense. People forget that this is not, people want the big comfy blue couch situation. All friends. No, there's one winner. There's one check. Okay. Everyone else in this house will not be receiving a check except for the winner and second place technically. But all I have to say is that you should be playing for yourself. And Nicole's seemingly one of the only people playing for herself. So I'm here for it. Yeah, it just she needs to get other people on the same wave. And by same wave, I mean have some common sense. So we'll see. Manifesting, hoping, praying.
So in terms of a ranking, I'm feeling C. How do we feel about that?
I would maybe even put her in B below Amira, probably. I think
okay
she's right up there. Too. I think
she's the fact she's in an alliance and she's positioning herself outside of the alliance is like a big move. Like alliance. Look at the girls. It don't take much to shake an alliance. Let's be real. Yeah. It don't take much.
Yep. She's also one of the only ones that cooks in the house. Like this last week, like the boys couldn't even cook their own slop. She was cooking the slop for the have-nots.
The men in this house are
like, I mean...
The men in this house are losers. I'm sorry, I had to
literally, where did they find these men? Did they just drag the garbage dump and find whatever they could dig out from underneath the trash? Like, I don't understand where they found these men.
I'm mad, man, because Monty's like 15 minutes from my house, man. I'm like I'm right here. Why you guys avoiding me, man?
Seriously.
So
I'm gonna drag all of these men, but losers.
Isaiah, would you cook for yourself in the house?
Please.
I've been learning how to cook.
Okay,
I've been cooking, man. I've been cooking. I can make some quesadillas and
that's all
and
you
stuff.
need.
Yeah, give me instructions.
Please don't pull a mat. It's not just cereal. There are other elements of the group. There are other elements of the group. Broccoli, celery. I don't know, a vegetable.
Yeah.
A vegetable.
But all right. So the next person, because we got a couple more people to get through, we won't be here forever. So next is fan favorite so far, Taylor. Taylor, if this was based off of personal, obviously she go all the way to an S. But due to unforeseen circumstances that she honestly can't avoid, Taylor is on the block for the second week in a row, not in a good position, maybe one of the worst positions by far. The upside for Taylor is that if you watch the HOH competition, she's good at comps. So I mean, I have some faith in her. Hopefully, she can pull out this veto win. But she's a nice person. It's not like she can't talk game with people, but the issue is that she's not actively speaking game with the right people. So I'm hoping that something happens for her to the point where someone wants to bring her into something and she can actually work. But she is literally like a loner. She has no one. We thought Joseph was there for a little bit, and he ain't there no more. Brittany is there, but from like a distance, like a very far distance. She's not going to put her game on the line. There's not anyone really looking out for Taylor. So if she somehow makes jury, I will be very, very shocked. But here we are. So, Josie, how do you feel about Taylor's position right now?
I would just like to say, love a black woman from infinity to infinity. Yes, before I start. The girls that get it, and the girls that don't. Okay. But besides that point, I feel like she wasn't given a chance to begin with, and that's why it's so hard for me to put her in a tier. Like, part of me just wants to put her in the Taylor tier because, like, she wasn't even given a chance from the jump. They made these assumptions, and they outcasted her and didn't even give her a second chance to look. She's here for another week, and these people have not even thought about maybe potentially like opening their art, like their like mindset about potentially, except for like a few people here and there, but they're not even in positions of powers, which is really frustrating. So I don't feel like there's much she can do. She's trying. She's scraping. She's holding on to dear life. She, like, the way she was holding on during that HOH competition is how she is holding on in this game. And she can't do anything anymore. She can't go to X amount of person and, at this rate, it's going to take someone else to want to take the initiative to work with her. And that's what's sad. So it's hard for me to rank her because it's like, she's tried to talk competition. When she thought she did something wrong, she tried to apologize. She was met with Palm Beach over here being disrespectful and rude. Monty gaslighting her. It was weird. She tries, and there's nothing she can do. So I don't know. It's like hard. I really hope that smart, intelligent people tap into the thing that I've been talking about, common sense, and realize she is alone, and people who are not in an alliance with Daniel, which is pretty much everyone, can use her and go, hey, he put you up, target him. She could pitch that to them, but if no one wants to hear it, there's nothing she can do. So it's quite unfortunate for her, and I'm so sad for my sister, on a game level and on a personal level. It's sad.
Well, I mean, if it means anything, like, apparently, like 5 minutes ago, Amira and Nicole said that they want to see Taylor be HOH at some point. So, well, hopefully
she needs to survive the walk first.
Yeah,
everyone's against
like,
her.
If y'all really want her here, go to Jasmine and tell her what you want. You know what I'm saying? She'll listen to
someone get into the HOH room, remove the Paloma brainwashing quickly.
Yeah,
quickly get the
Monty's making it better.
Sage that place.
Come on.
Katie, how you feel about Taylor's spot and where you want to rank her?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Josie. I think it's hard to rank her because she came into the house with already almost like a mark on her because of the racism and the bullying mentality of the other members of the house. So, like, how do you fight against this ingrained, bias that these people have against you? It's hard. I mean, I'm speaking from a white person's perspective, so I can't imagine it. I don't know what it feels like. I've never been in that position before. So I don't know. I don't know how Taylor can break through that because it's all so deep seated and internalized. So it's hard. I think, racism is the seventh person in their alliance right now. And it's like, that's the person, or that's the one person in the alliance that's going to stick with them because that's rooted inside of them. So it's hard. I think, it sounds like, let me take a step back. Taylor's doing all the right things, everything that she needs to do, right? She's talking, everybody said she's going to freak out. She's going to get loud. They're going to, she's going to be loud and blah, blah, blah. She's going to lose it. When she gets on the block, she did the opposite. She's full of nothing but grace and poise, and she's kind, and she's everything that you could want in an ally. And these people aren't seeing it, right? So it's like, it's really unfortunate because if you brought her in, she could do work. She has been doing work. She's already, people are saying they want to get Pooch out over her. And it's just people like Jasmine, and it's people like Pooch, and it's people like Turner, and people like Terrence,
losers.
And those types of people who, exactly, losers. It's the losers of the house who don't see the value that she brings to the table. You're right. She killed in that competition. She's an asset. You should want to bring her into an alliance. She's a vote. She will vote with you if, and she has nobody. That's like the perfect person that you should be bringing in and being nurturing to those relationships. I think Taylor has a great mind for the game. I think if these people can just like let it go, whatever it is, just let it fucking go, then I think Taylor can really break in and do a great job. But I just don't know that I don't know that it's possible for some of them. It's like they are like dogs with a bone here. Some of them are getting Amira a little better, Nicole a little better. We know Brittany has been like back and forth on Taylor, yes and no, but Brittany's a little like, I don't know what's going on with Brittany. Even Michael is like, I would like to work with Taylor, but I can't damage myself. I think if she can just keep fighting, I think she has a great chance to win this veto and be safe this week. Like we said, this is a blessing that they put her up and didn't try and backdoor her, because now she's guaranteed to play the veto. People already want to take Pooch out over her. Can it get better? I don't know. I just don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say.
I want to say, Isaiah, like, you didn't touch on this, but I know that you were rooting for Taylor from the beginning, and so was I, because her bio was sick. Like, it was
amazing.
dope.
She said everything that you wanted to
hear.
She
said everything she needed to say. She was literally built like one of the best potential house guests to win. And it's sad because really what came into play was her race. We thought we had moved forward, cha. We really thought. We back in the trenches. I'm curious to see how you feel about it, because I obviously I feel some type of way because she's a black woman, I'm a black woman, whatever. But on a game aspect, because you were rooting for her. I saw on the timeline. I witnessed it. So I'm curious to hear how you think now.
Yeah, I saw one of my friends actually tipped me that she was going to be in, because she's friends with her in real life. She does pageants with her or whatever, and she like texted her. She was like coaching her like what to do, what not to do going in, and she was ready. And I didn't know that she was a fan, but like looking at the interviews, like she watched the show. It's unfortunate because I know how excited my friend was for her, and I saw the text messages and I saw how excited she was to be in the house. So just knowing how the casting process is and how long and extremely exaggerating it is, exhausting, sorry, for her to finally get in there after sitting through sequester, after prepping all this stuff, for her to actually get in, and then this is your experience, kind of like what Kemi had to go through, Candace, Dominique, the list goes on. It's just really unfortunate, I don't ever like seeing black people, specifically black women, go into these games and struggle. And it's unfortunate that it feels, I mean, obviously Survivor has had issues with this. Big Brother Canada has had issues with this, but it seems like Big Brother US is the one that constantly has an issue with this. So, it's unfortunate to see. I kind of hope that she does better. Hopefully, I know a lot of people said, "Oh, let them eliminate her so she can go home." She doesn't seem like she wants to go home. I think she actually wants to be there and compete. So I don't want her to get eliminated yet. Like, it'd be different if she was like, "I don't want to be here. F this house." And I'll be like, please send her home. But like, she legit seems like she wants to be there. So I'm not going to root for her to get eliminated. I want to see her fight and win. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it. Josi literally came in right when I finished. Sorry about that. But I can't hear you, Isa.
I said I'm serving Lance realness. My bad. Sorry.
I know, it's okay. John to Lance. Diego, do you have any final thoughts about Taylor before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously love Taylor. It's just so disappointing how, people came into this house with racial biases. Like Daniel's exact words were, the minute I saw her, I knew it was going to be bad news.
Yep.
Like the moment they saw her, they had already crossed her off. It's just ridiculous. Like I'm like, she never had a chance. She's been fighting every day since she was put on the block. She's been trying to make these connections with people, talking to different people, talking to everybody in the house. And I was really excited when Paloma left, because I was like, okay, I think this could ease the Taylor hate. She could actually, have a chance in this game. But I think as long as Jasmine is in there, as long as Pooch is in there, she's going to have an uphill battle. And I have faith in her. I know she can win competitions. I know she can do it, but it seems like the house guests are not even giving her a fair chance. So like, it's out of her hands.
Okay. I don't think anyone wants to do it, but if we're going to stay true to the process, we're either doing it in F, or if we're going to do it and feel a little bit bad, throw a little bias in, we'll put her in D.
I was thinking D only because I think she's, from a gameplay standpoint, she is doing everything she needs to do. And if we're ranking her on gameplay, I would put her above a D if it was only on gameplay, but obviously her position in the house is just not good, and she doesn't have a lot of allies, or any allies really, that she can count on. If she can break through, I think she'll be great. But right now,
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, it's
I
If you
tough.
agree
have
with
an
the D. She
issue,
hasn't done anything wrong.
I say put a Taylor tier because it's not fair.
That's not
Nah, I'm
fair.
a kid.
It's not fair.
Yeah, okay. Why not? We can do that. Taylor tier. She can get blue because of her shirt. There you go. Taylor. Hopefully, I gave them. You guys don't get the good color, but I hope the game changes around for her. Honestly, because I would love to see her just get an HOH. Like I felt like I was looking at Janelle when I was watching that competition last night.
Me
I was
too.
like,
I was
Yeah.
rooting
when she
so
almost
hard.
fell in group, I was like, yeah.
I
Like
was
I don't
clapping.
root.
My hands hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
I
I usually
yelled.
don't care. I
Oh,
was
me
like,
too.
let's go, unleash the beast. You
Yep.
know. So
Which is why the second half of the competition being pie eating really. Anyways,
all right. So the remaining people to rank, I don't see a lot needing to be said, minus like maybe Monty, which I mean we're about to talk about. Other than like Monty, and Brittany, they're in maybe. Well, we'll see. But I don't, the remaining people,
Isaiah's like, I have plans. I gotta get out of here.
it's not even that. I don't have anything to do. I could sit here for hours. I'm just saying I don't see them doing much in the game right now, and it's unfortunate. A lot of dumb gameplay, and if we have a flooded out F tier, I won't be shocked. But
yeah.
we got Monty here. I don't think Monty is necessarily playing a bad game. Is he playing a game I like? No. He's with the bros. I think all the bros like him. He seems to be favored with some of the girls. He's a victim of the Paloma mist that exists. I'm shocked that Paloma had this type of impact. It's kind of Paul-esque, but hey, it happened, and Monty is trying to carry out the will of Paloma, just like Amira. I said Amira, just like Jasmine, and they want to get Taylor out. I don't know what Taylor did. For some reason, he's convinced himself that Taylor tried to manipulate him when she didn't. She was being blatantly honest with him about what the girls were saying, but it is what it is. There, it's unfortunate because she was just trying to look out for another black player, but he wasn't with it. So here we go, Monty. As we said, it seems like Nicole and Amira are kind of plotting on him. I'm very curious to see where that goes. But Diego, how do you feel about Monty?
I mean, Monty, I think it's difficult just because I don't see much of him on the feeds. I know people like him. I know he seems like a very lovable guy. Like people just seem to really enjoy his company. People seem to really enjoy talking to him. However, I don't see much of that strategic mindset. I don't see much of like that decision making. So I think he's probably very difficult for me to just give a rating for that reason. Also, I think this week can really solidify or really mark how the rest of the season is going to go. So if they start with a bang this week and they really get out somebody like Pooch or another big guy, he's going to be in danger. People are going to be looking at him. So
Agreed. How are you feeling about Mr. Monty, Josiane?
Um.
Oh, brother. I'm just
Huh.
like, I'm so sad to see a black man like this, man. Like, it's a shame,
Here's
man.
what I have to say to Monty. Monty, stand up. You're weak in the knees. Stand up. It's embarrassing. You pray. Sorry, we have to talk about the Paloma prayers. You really sat there and led the prayer for someone who has not even died. I'm so sick. Stand up. It's like you need the approval of every house guest here. I'm not going to say the word that I've seen on Twitter being used, but it's giving very that. Why do you need the approval of all these other people to this extent? It's getting weird. I get getting along with people, being a social player. I get it. Don't get it twisted. If there's one person who gets it, it's me. But is doing a little too much. And to then go out of your way to bash a black woman for the sake of the game, or I don't know if that's how he feels personally. I'm giving him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt and assuming that he's doing it for game. It's loser behavior. Stand up. You're weak in the knees. How do you explain? How do you plan? At the end of the day, if they're doing this to her, do you think you're an exception to the rule? Do you think you're any different because you're a man? No, baby. One thing about these people, they're hating on her race and not her gender. So get it together, stand up, and fix that attitude because it's a no for me. In terms of gameplay, yeah, he's a guy. So guys have it easier in the game. Like, let's be real. He's a big guy. He's strong. So people are gonna want to work with him. There are people who are looking at, I don't know, Kyle, Joseph, maybe even a little bit better because race has everything to do with it. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, he's a dude. So he gets it easy and he's not doing much. If you want to be a winner, you have to do some game moves. You have to be strategic and you have to play the game. And right now, you're not giving me strategy. You're giving me bandwagon. You're giving me himbo. So that's what I have to say on that. And I said what I said and I meant what I said. And he deserves as much of he deserves way more lashings than I'm giving him right now because I'm trying to be short.
It's unfortunate because like I know he went to University of Delaware down the street. And he was a part of like this frat. But I have a lot of like mutuals in real life that know him. Right when the cast got leaked out, I went on his Instagram and I saw a lot of people that I follow in my regular life following him. And now when the season started, I had all these people texting me, asking me what's Big Brother about. All these people excited to watch the show because like a Delawarean's on a reality TV show. And then now they're like, what's going on? Monty's getting dragged on this stuff. And I told them, and now they're done with him. It's just like, damn, like, hate to see it. Lastly, yeah, Katie, how you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. Monty, I think, is the perfect archetype for Big Brother that just gets handed things because they're attractive, they're men, they're strong. He doesn't really give me much personality. I think, he just does like a lot of like smiling and nodding. The prayer, I can't even talk about it. I think, people are wise to him though a little bit. And I think, Josie, I think you're right. Like even Paloma was talking before she left the house about like, I understand that all these people are black, but like whether you're black, white, or alien, like I am putting you on the black. So it's like,
it's so stupid.
I mean, like, give me a break. Like, she was already coming for this man, and then he did a whole prayer for her the day that whatever. So, he is already being talked about being nominated. They were talking about him last week, potentially being nominated. Taylor tried to do him a solid. He twisted that story and made up a complete lie and brought it back to Paloma. And I don't know. Are people starting to believe Taylor about it? Are they even still talking about it? I'm not really sure, but I don't think he's doing much of anything. Even this week, he was like, I don't want to win HOH. So it's like, okay. I mean, this man clearly threw that competition last night, by the way. Both him and Nicole, we didn't talk about it. They both stood on that thing and waited forever, and they both were like just jumping off and then waiting for the other person. Neither one of them wanted to win. It was obvious. So he feels like he doesn't want to do anything, and he just wants to get by on the fact that he's strong and he's got good looks and he's tall. And I just don't think it's going to work out for him because I don't think the women are going to let him fly this season.
I just remembered his showman's comment. Oh, I know that people want to see a black showman. Yep. Sorry. Fuck off.
This man is nasty. He's a nasty person.
He's a loser. He's a loser. He will not be winning because you know what? If he does win, it's he's not winning. Him, I guess. But the way he is moving, again, no one is tapping into this thing called common sense. And it's upsetting to watch as a viewer. And him enabling this behavior as a black man, where is Howard when I need him? It's incredible. And let's be real. If Terrence wasn't in the house, Monty would have been up on the block with Taylor. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you think you're the exception? Because you're a little taller? Because you're a little bit built? You are literally a walking target. And the fact that you are immediately discrediting someone who will potentially have your back way more than Palm Beach, it don't make no sense. No common sense. The common sense, the brain cells aren't clicking. The common sense is not being tapped into. I can't. Loser behavior. Loser. Sorry, I know he's Delawarean. I know, solidarity.
I don't
Loser
care. No,
behavior.
no. I agree.
Delaware has disowned this man. Okay.
So in terms of ranking, I can see Monty as C right now. But like a low one.
I would almost put him in a D because they want to
I'm
backdoor. I
okay
mean,
with
they're already
that,
plotting
yeah.
to backdoor him. So I think
I'm
This man's
fine with
being
that.
week
plotted
2.
against.
I mean, like as we're sitting here, they're trying to get him out of there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's
There
D
you go.
for me.
Yeah. D. All right. Next is Pooch, or I'm not calling
Another
him that.
loser.
Joe.
I can't.
Next
This
is
man
Joe.
gives me the ick.
You're a grown man. Why are we calling
Disgusting.
you Pooch?
Disgusting.
You're a grown man. You know, Pooch? Nah, you're a grown man. Get it together. Get it together. I can't. Anyways,
No.
sorry. Keep going, Isaiah.
Joe. So he seemed. I don't know. I don't think people like him. There, like he was originally supposed to be in the 6-person alliance, and then Paloma was like, "Ew, no, replace him."
The only good thing that she's done, aside from
Wake
leave.
it up.
and then it's so he seemed like he was super close with Turner. I think they have like a final 2. Turner would tell Joe everything that he's heard. He's there. I think the guys try to keep him around. He seems to be good with the guys, but the girls don't seem to care for him. But even Monty was starting to say that Pooch is untrustworthy. And I don't want to work with him. So he has no idea how much danger like people don't really like him. I can see him. Yeah, and what's even crazier is that he apparently volunteered to go on the block just so they can get Taylor out. Are you that comfortable? I'm this is not like we're reaching all time bad like Big Brother moves if he goes home. He really needs to win something because it's not looking good for him. I know he wanted to emulate Dr. Will or something. You're
He better
far
keep
from
Dr.
it right
Will's
now.
name out of his mouth, okay?
Yeah, like it's not looking good. How do you feel about that, Katie? Because you seem not too happy with that.
No,
one.
this man makes my skin crawl. He's disgusting to me. I have to change the feeds every time he's on. He grosses me out. I don't know. Him and Turner, I can't even look at them. They just like make my skin crawl. He's been doing nothing but disparaging Taylor all day. He called her a motherfucker earlier. Like, what kind of man are you? What kind of man are you? Literally, what kind of man are you? You're disgusting. You should be lucky that you're even able to breathe the same air as Taylor, okay? He's in the kitchen calling Indy baby girl. I love seeing you in the kitchen. He's disgusting, and he's going to go. If he doesn't win the veto, he's out this week unless they decide to backdoor Monty, and then if Monty's out this week, then he's gone next week. I mean, nobody likes this man. He's gross. He just, goodbye. I have nothing else to say. Bye.
How about you, Diego?
Yeah, like what are you doing? Like I think he's so cocky. Like the fact that he had this safety for a week, he just feels like he's untouchable, that he can volunteer to go on the block because he has the votes. Like what? Like what? Like oh my god, what are you doing? Oh no, he's so
a
annoying.
Backstage boss.
Yeah, he's also
loser.
Like, one of the people that was being like, oh, is Indy even capable of speaking game because of her accent? It's like you're a horrible person. Like I don't even want to give him the time of the day. Like bye, next. Like
Trash.
Are you with that too? F tier for Pooch, Josie?
Yeah, Diego's better than me. I have some time to drag him a little. Loser, misogynistic, loser. The only coach I acknowledge is Dan, first of all. So, second of all, why do people call you Pooch? When I think of Pooch, I don't think of anything very good when I say that word. So I don't know why that was the choice they gave him. I don't know who cursed him with that name, but the fact that he's running with it, weirdo. Even Julie Chen, which I don't fucking like, she quoted tweeted something. She said, "Why CBS making Julie Chen call him Pooch like a 30-year-old man?" And like she like did some gif or something talking about how she thinks it's also very dumb. So it's dumb behavior all around. First of all,
he's Pooch because he's a dog.
Don't insult dogs like that.
Yeah.
That's what? That's the reasoning?
No,
his last name is Poocherelli.
Loser. I can't wait for him to go home. Who common sense again? The lacking of common sense. Who offers to go on the block? No one is safe. We just had a twist that was announced. Hey y'all, by the way, what we're supposed to do is do a competition, blah blah blah. We just came off of the twist, and you're feeling so lucky, so easy breezy to put yourself on the block like an idiot. So dumb. The common sense is lacking. He is misogynistic. He is gross. He gives everyone the ick. How are you going to be a sixth player and like player alliance and get Uno reversed? How is that feasible? And he's not done anything. He was in the conversation in the episode. He's in the conversation where they're talking about the six. And all of a sudden, Michael's getting added into it. Why are you not tapping into it? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Loser.
All right, so F tier, awesome. just for like I'm gonna put him here just for like offering to go on the block. I think it's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
He needs to be at the bottom. He's disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible.
He's going home. Hopefully. Maybe
I
Monty.
hope so.
I'll take both.
Yeah,
be
let them
honest.
both
I
go.
hope so.
Maybe that's a twist. Let them both go.
All right. Next is Terrence on a
Chicago
podcast of disappointment. That tweet that you posted in the private chat, Katie, made me very sad.
Sick.
We have Terrence and Jasmine apparently talking right now, saying that Taylor's not a sister. So wow, I don't like that. Anyway, Terrence is the typical older player trying to fit in with the bros every single season. He's trying to fit in with the cool kids, and it's not working out. We saw him on the block last week. We saw him during that HOH. Was one of the slowest people. No, he was the slowest person. And you know, I don't think he's going to do well in physical competitions. He, as of right now, has 0 alliances. I think there's like a mutual understanding with the black people outside of Taylor that they're going to look out for each other. But I don't know what to really make of Terrence's game. I don't think he really has longevity. I think he's an easy person for someone to throw in the block when they need an excuse because he's not going to do anything about it. And I think, God, is he actually playing the worst game? Every time we get someone, I'm like, are they actually the worst? The bottom of F tier. It's not good, man. But how do you feel about Terrence's game, Josanne?
He's doing nothing. It's giving furniture. It's giving IKEA. You know what? For you to go also and be a part of the problem with black men talking about black women, who are you to categorize who's a sister and who's not? Is she not black? You idiot. Anyways, yeah, he does nothing. Here's the thing. The reason why I don't think he's in a worse, like he's a bad player in comparison to like everyone else who is in Pooch, is because he's not going home. Like he's not on the block. You know what I mean? That's the only saving grace that's going in for him. But he is so disposable. It's ridiculous. My guy, just like Monty, you think you're an exception to the rule? You think you're an exception to the rule? Man who can't even compete? I'm sorry. At least maybe people will look at Taylor and go, oh, you know, she's ostracized herself or whatever, even though she technically didn't do it on her own. Weirdos, common sense, but at least she can compete. At least she's on the outside. At least we can use her as a number, as a shield, blah blah blah. You know, they can use that logic with her. They can't use that logic for him. What is he doing? What has he done? What will he be giving us? Like, unless he can win a mental comp, which I don't know. I'm not going to underestimate someone I don't know personally, but yeah, he's not giving anything. He's so disposable. Who were we talking about that was like, we were saying that someone is like, I forget who we were talking about, but we were talking about the Cameron effect with Michael. He's the one who's going to be always on the block. He's a coaster. He's in no power position, and I don't think he will ever be in a power position socially or in regards to competitions to be making moves. So I don't know. I feel like the one ally he could have, a sister, he's ostracizing her and being a weirdo when she's done nothing to him. It's so ridiculous. A man from Chicago, don't you understand the struggle? Like, there's things happening in Chicago Black issues, and you have now presenting yourself in LA in the house and acting like a complete different person. Like you don't know the environmental, sociological, like all that information. Sorry, I'm French, so sociologique. Sorry, I don't know the term in English, but there are so many things that are there. He's just wow. I can't. Loser behavior. Another loser.
How do you feel about Diego?
Yeah, I mean he's boring. Like to be honest, I didn't watch the Sunday episode or the Wednesday episode until yesterday. And I was like, okay,
Mm.
I'm excited. Let's see this DRs. Like his DRs are boring. Like I was like, he's probably gonna be really funny. He's not giving me what I thought he was going to give. Uh I do the one thing that I'll give him, I guess, is that I haven't heard anybody talk about wanting him out, but it's not because he's doing anything. Like it's just because people are not even thinking of him. Like he's not, to me, he's not even trying to play the game. He's not very active. He's not really talking to anybody but Turner. Like Turner out of all
Mm.
people. Like why Turner? Like what is Turner gonna do for you in this game? Nothing. Like yeah.
All right, lastly, Katie.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you guys said. I think, what Terrence is not aware of is that last week they were all already talking as if Taylor was out of the house and that they were planning next week. And Terrence's name was right up there on the block with them. I think his saving grace maybe was that Jasmine got HOH and she has a hate boner for Taylor, and Pooch volunteered to go up. Otherwise, maybe Taylor would be up too. Terrence would be up too. I really don't know. This guy's giving me nothing. He's a disappointment. I really wanted to root for him. He seemed like a really sweet guy. He seemed like he was a fan, and now we're seeing his true colors just like everybody else's, and they're not good. And you know what? I love karaoke, and I'm mad that this man is a karaoke DJ because, like, give me a break.
All right.
The most boring
we,
karaoke.
Not a
anything like his
karaoke
DRs.
DJ. That's so funny.
do we agree that Terrence is F tier?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna put him right here above Pooch because there's no coming back from volunteering to go on the block.
Right.
But there you go. Wow, this is the most F tier. We're getting close to like this is not looking good, man. All right, we got Miss Brittany. I think not in a good spot. She threw the girls under the bus and that pissed them off. So they're looking at her with the side eye. But I mean, look, she has a mind for the game. She's trying to be adaptable. I don't think they're coming for her just yet. But I mean, she's in some sort of danger because Amira's not going to forget that, and it will be very funny if let's look at this real quick. So Brittany was looking out for Monty and snitched on the girls to Monty.
To
Pooch.
Or sorry, to Pooch.
Even worse. Worse.
Pooch snitched back to Amira. And then
to Monty and to everybody.
And to Monty. And then now Amira and Nicole want to get Monty out. Like this is a game of hot potato. Like I've never seen this before, so I don't know what to make of this. But this house is so messy that I feel like people are forgetting that what Brittany even did. So that's something. The girls seem outside of Taylor that they want to keep the girls. So I don't think Brittany's going anytime soon. The guys don't seem to mind her, but she's not in the best position. I don't think she has a true ally. Like I think she thinks Turner's like her final two, but he's like ratting all her stuff out to freaking Pooch, who, I mean, he's no power position player, so who cares? But still, so I don't know what to think of her game. What should we be worried for Brittany, Diego?
I think we should. She's way too messy. She talks way too much. Like, what was the point of she's just, to me, she's playing like on survivor mode all the time. It feels like she's like so desperate all the time to just do anything and for anybody to talk to her that she'll just throw anybody under the bus. I mean, all the girls know that she threw Amira under the bus. Michael knows that too. Michael knows that she's lying to him as well. So it's like nobody really seems to trust her. Jasmine has nominated Pooch and Taylor. If Pooch happens to win the veto, I don't see Jasmine putting up Turner or Monty or any other strong guy. I think Jasmine is most likely going to put up Brittany if Pooch happens to win the veto. That's how I feel. I think she's in a lot of danger. People don't trust her, and it's her own fault. She's just too messy.
Is there any upside or like upward trajectory, Katie, for Brittany's game? Is there a way she can get out of this?
I just don't know where her mind is right now. I think it was a really bad decision to rat out to Pooch of all people, because it's not like that's going to gain you any power. Maybe because he was the backstage boss and maybe she thought he would have some kind of power to make some sort of decision. I don't think that he would have. He already is brought you backstage and didn't give you a vote or a chance to fight for yourself. So I don't know why you're continuing to go to this man and spill information for people who are supposed to be your allies. At least if you're going to people who like have some kind of power in the house. Monty, even Kyle to an extent, Michael, who didn't have power but is now, was a close ally of hers. But Pooch, like, I don't understand how it makes sense. She also was upstairs, like, ratting people out left and right to Daniel and Nicole, two additional people who, like, yeah, Daniel had power of the HOH, but he's not powerful in the house. He's not doing anything with it. So I just don't think, she's playing. I just don't know what game she's playing because she's all over the place. I like Brittany, but Jasmine was already thinking about putting her up. I think Amira wanted her to put her up. I mean, Jasmine didn't do it because she's part of the girls, but like the girls obviously aren't really that much of a thing, only in Jasmine's mind because she's not part of the other alliance. So it's like, I don't know. She's going to be an easy person to put up. I think even for Taylor, if Taylor gets power, I think she sees Brittany as someone who she can like, use as a pawn or something like that too. So not looking good for a girl Brittany.
Any words for Brittany, Josiane?
I like that she's chaotic. In a house that just makes me sad all the time, I need a little chaos. She gives me Raven tease in a good way. And a little bit of Nicole Anthony in a sense. And I know that's kind of a crazy mix, but at this rate, I've called pretty much half of the cast losers, and I will continue to do so. So I need someone who is going to entertain me in a chaotic level of delusion that will make me step away from the fact that I keep reminded about the fact that we Black people don't get it easy, especially Black women. So I like Brittany. Her eyes a little panic. I'm kind of here for it. I need that energy. I think the paranoia is biting her in the butt, though. Like, one thing about Big Brother, paranoia is a bitch. So if you don't gather it together, if you don't get it together, it's going to harm your game. We see it every season, depending on who it is at what time. Paranoia is always an aspect of the game. So she needs to reel it in. I understand her reasoning with Pooch because, she thought he would have a decision because they didn't know anything. They didn't know any better. What could she have done? She was using the information she had, and she tried to go for full throttle, and it didn't go due to her advantage, unfortunately. But there are people who can look for her. Taylor can work with her. Michael can work with her. Some of the girls, she just needs to reel it in and kind of reset a little bit. And I think it'll be due with time. I think she's still not used to it. So the clock is always ticking. But if she just sits back for a minute, she could do some damage in the right ways if she navigates the game properly. But she has to climb up. I don't want her to be in a Jess position where she screws herself so hard that she can't do anything, similar to what we saw them do in Big Brother Canada. So I want Brittany to reel it in.
All right, so let me know if this is a bad take. Brittany F, but behind Jasmine.
I don't think it's a bad take. I think Jasmine is in less danger than Brittany. I don't think anybody's actively coming for
I agree
Jasmine.
with that.
As much as I cannot stand Jasmine or listen to her speak on the feeds, I think Brittany is in a worse position than her right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Boom. Oh, wow. So many F tiers. All right. Next is the twerker on TikTok, Kyle.
If you can call it that.
If you want to say give us nothing, I mean, this guy's giving us nothing. The only thing that I am now privy to because of this podcast is that him and Michael have been talking game. But I haven't really seen anything from Kyle. I think Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of Kyle or his game. I don't really know what his plan is. I know that he's in the 6-person alliance. I know the girls seem to like him, the guys seem to like him. I think he's just a overall regular guy that everyone likes, so he's going to be around for a while. I think he's going to make jury, but I just don't really understand or even think he understands what he's supposed to be doing here. So uh you know, Katie, I mean, what are we to expect from Kyle?
So I actually kind of, as much as it hurts me to say, like the game that Kyle's playing because I think there's a lot of chaos going on around and he seems a little grounded. And I like that he was talking to Michael and, you know, in that conversation, it was before, at least the one I saw in the feeds, it was before Paloma had left and he and Michael were like, you know, I'm not saying what I'm saying to you, to anybody else. I feel like I can trust you, but like Paloma's freaking me out. Like I don't know if I can trust her. It seems like he has a pretty decent read. I also feel like he's kind of like in a little bit of a flirtmance or beginning of a flirtmance with Alyssa, and that could keep him safe. They're both in the 6-person alliance together. I don't think people see him as much of a threat as they do Monty, and maybe they should. And I think he can get pretty far. If I had to pick a person to win this game right now, as much of a train wreck as this cast is, I think it might be Kyle. Like I think
I agree.
he's not bothering anybody. I don't think he's going to do anything to piss anybody off. He's very even, and I think even with some of the Taylor stuff, like, yeah, he was adding microaggressions and he did like just throw out like, oh yeah, my grandma's racist, but like no big deal. But I think he's like not even as bad as some of the other men in the house. Like Josie, he's a loser for sure, but he's like almost less of a loser than the other guys, which is confusing because he's a unemployed TikTok twerker. So you would think he'd be the biggest loser, but he's like middle of the road loser. So I could see him winning, honestly, which is kind of sick to say.
Yeah.
Is that coming, Diego? Or is our next winner a TikTok twerker?
I mean, I think he fits into the stereotypical Big Brother winner. You know, he's a white boy with muscles. So I can very easily see him win. Like I was thinking all day today, and I was like, is he really gonna win this season? Because I can see it, and I can see a path for him. I think one of the advantages that he has in this game is that unlike the majority of the people, he doesn't talk a lot, which is very important in the game of Big Brother. We've heard that over and over again. I think people underestimate how much you need to listen and shut up. And I think he's the best one at doing that. Yep. And yeah, I mean, I can definitely see him win through this season, which is going to be disappointing, but I can see it.
Josanne, where are we ranking Kyle? Because if it's up to me, I think he's played the most middle of the road game. He would be a C tier, in my opinion. But how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, he's a C solely because he's done nothing because he's a white man. It just, again, it comes easy. I'm sorry. Like, please name me something Kyle has done. I'll wait. Seriously, someone. I'm being dead serious. Because he's done nothing. In a good position because he sits there and doesn't do anything. No thoughts, head empty. I mean, I'm not saying that he's dumb, but I'm just saying like all he has to do there is sit there, nod, maybe add a yeah, and it just comes easy to him. Why did people come up to him for an alliance? Because he's a big white dude. Like he has muscles. It's ridiculous. And the fact that this man can win. I like a season of Big Brother when you don't know who can win because there are so many good players and gameplay being exhibited. And so the fact that he has done nothing and is our front runner to be a winner, I don't know. I feel like it speaks to the season itself. I don't feel the need to call him a loser, but preseason I did get the ick from him. Those TikTok videos twerking. It felt like I'm trying to be like I think I tweeted it. I was like that like Facebook meme where there's ladies like I'm so quirky. Like that to me is what Kyle is. Like that's exactly who he is. And that personally gives me the ick, but I'm not gonna call him a loser. So not this week at least.
Quirky.
I don't think we should insult twerking by saying that what he's doing is twerking. He thinks he's
so real.
But he's like just convulsing.
He and his followers
Yes,
think
his
it's twerking.
followers. Yes, it's true. Yes.
There's a couple thousand.
Who is
that you're gonna go
following
against.
Kyle?
A lot. He
Hold
has a
on.
lot of
Who is
followers,
fo-
right? He has like 500,000
Why?
followers on TikTok or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, he's a lot.
He's got a lot.
Why? What is he providing? You want to see
He
some
does,
twerking?
like,
Go
some
watch a Meg Thee Stallion video.
He's like a sarcastic guy on there, and then when instead of making a joke that doesn't lead with like dry humor, he twerks. It's weird. Um,
It's the same
I saw
joke
it.
for every video.
Yeah,
I've
Yeah.
never. I respect my time too much.
I've
To
only
go
seen him
dig
on
one.
Twitter.
That's not
I
the
was
shit
on
popping up
Twitter.
on my For You page, to be honest. But go off, I guess.
All right, we got 4 people left. All 4 of them aren't really giving much, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't think we'll have too much to say.
No.
Go, give us nothing.
Yep.
Literally.
Like, what are we doing with
nothing.
Joseph, man? I don't really know. Joseph isn't even really with the guys. They don't really like incorporate him there. He's not really with any of the girls whatsoever. We thought he had something going on with Taylor, and that went out the window very quickly. So I'm just like, what the hell is Joseph's game here? Like, I don't know what he's doing. I see why he was an alternate. But like what are we doing here? Josie, like, what are we doing here?
Justice for Marvin, my African king. Besides that, Joseph gives nothing. Another person who's just furniture to me. I don't expect any gameplay from him. Like, I really, this is what's so annoying about this season. Like, I remember watching Big Brother Canada. I have to make this comparison. We were excited, like there was stuff happening, alliances being made left, right, and center, but it was giving something. And this cast, unfortunately, has given nothing. I couldn't tell you one thing that, again, name me something Joseph has done quickly. Like, he
Worked
like,
out.
It's so embarrassing. He is a good-looking man. Don't get it twisted. I'm a woman with eyes. I can admit when someone's good looking. But if I wanted to just be vain and superficial and watch good looking people, I would watch any dating reality TV show ever. So this is not what I subscribed for when I watch Big Brother. And he's giving nothing, which is disappointing. I don't know what the people on the timeline. If I get hate for it, I don't care. I said what I said. I meant what I said. I don't know what y'all see in Joseph. I really do not see what you guys see in him. I'm glad that there's representation for, the Arab community. Trust me, I love representation. I'd love to see it. But aside from that, he gives nothing, and not in a good way. Because unlike Kyle, who's doing nothing, at least he has a potential of winning. Joseph, to me, has done nothing, and I don't even know where he will land. So it's boring. I don't know what more I can say about that. It don't make no sense.
I mean, Diego, what are you thinking about ranking Joseph? Because I actually don't know if there's a correct answer to this one. He's just like such a wild card.
Yeah, like he volunteered to be a have-not last week, and he didn't even know what have-nots were. Like, did you even watch an episode of the show? Like, oh my god, like they need to stop casting recruits. By the time we're done with this podcast, half the cast is going to be an F, and that's what happens when you have terrible casting and cast a bunch of recruits that know nothing about the game. Like, come on, he didn't even know what have-nots were. Like, seriously, what are you doing here? He needs to be on Love Island or some other dating show. Like, yeah, I would not hire him as my lawyer. Definitely no. Like,
that's all. Tweet someone was like, "Don't hire Joseph as your lawyer. He'll get you in jail."
Jail. I saw that exactly. Yeah.
Katie, any closing thoughts on Joseph?
I think the only thing Joseph has going for him is that it seems like the girls like him. So that could keep him safe, I guess. But like, he's not. That's it. I mean, that's just lucky because he's nice to them. Like, I don't know what else. There's not really anything else to say.
I don't think he knows what alliances and social game and all that stuff is. So I don't expect him to do anything unless someone approaches him.
Why is he
at
on
this
the
point.
show? Why are we putting people on the show who don't even have the common sense? Keyword of the day.
Listen, Alison
to watch
Grodner.
an episode.
Allison will put who she feels looks pretty. Like she likes doing it.
And this is what drives me crazy. Like, we
I
talked about
can't
this
wait
in the
for the
draft
day.
podcast, and like, we know that fans are applying year after year after year after year who are dying to be on the show, who would be more entertaining. Why are we casting men like Joseph? He seems like he's fine, whatever. He's nice. Who cares? But like, why? Why? I don't understand. Why? Doesn't make sense.
Well, there you go. Joseph, I'm assuming we're all collectively agree F, right?
Yeah.
I think he's going to go above Terrence. They're both not doing anything, but
I would
think
put him at the top of F.
okay.
Because he's just going to float along.
Targeting him.
Yeah, he's just going to float along.
Mm-hmm.
True that. That's fair.
Wait, why is
All
Mark
right.
in D again? I'm sorry. I'm looking at it. I'm like, look at.
I mean, we could drop
It's
him
just
if you want to drop him. We could drop him.
I mean, if you guys want to keep him in D, I'm not like opposed to it. It's just like all these players are giving F to me. What is different? That isn't Monty more of a target than Joseph? Like
We can
True.
switch. We can
That
switch
is
him
true.
around.
That's
Yeah,
true.
look, I'll do that.
Yeah, maybe Joseph should go in D.
I'm thinking
feels
all
about
of them
right.
can be an F. To be honest, I'm just saying. I know. Anyways,
Well, we let's give it a little bit. We might actually do that.
oh, another loser. Oh, here we go.
So,
Oh my God.
if you asked me like last week, I was like, oh, Turner's actually playing okay. Like I thought he was doing fine. But now that his number one that he's been like telling all his information to volunteered himself on the block and has a chance to go home, I don't know if that really matters anymore. Turner's whole strategy has just been talk trash about Taylor. Sorry. He just wants to fit in the house at this point. Like he's kind of like a follower. I think he's just trying to like kiss everyone's ass. And he actually has strategic means, but I don't know how effective those strategic means are. I don't think anyone other than Pooch and Brittany are looking out for him. I don't think any of the girls care for him, and obviously the guys don't really care for him because they didn't include him in anything. I don't know, Katie. I mean, what is there to do with Turner here?
This man makes me want to throw up in my mouth. That's all I have to say. He looks like he smells. I saw he put his bare feet on Daniel's HOH bed, and I would have to fumigate my whole room. He's disgusting. I can't even look at him on his feeds. He just grosses me out. He gives me Kid Rock energy with like scene girl hair from the year 2004. Let him get out of the house. I have nothing to say. That's all I have to say.
Diego.
Yeah, I mean he's nowhere on the feeds ever unless he's talking shit about Taylor to Pooch. Like that's really all he does. He even said it himself that like earlier he was like, if I lose Paloma and Pooch within the same week, I am done in this game. Well, that he hopefully most likely is going to lose Pooch this week. So what is he gonna do?
Manifesting.
Like he's acknowledging that if he happens to lose Pooch after losing Paloma, he has nobody in this game. And what is he doing about it? Nothing. Like the majority of the players, they're just not active enough. He's not doing anything. Like nothing. Giving us nothing.
Yeah. I don't really know what to make of this guy. Josie, is there anything that we're not seeing that you're seeing with Turner?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, losers! I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm like, he's such a loser. This man is so not. I'm manifesting. I'm predicting. I'm seeing the future like that's so Raven. He will not be even making it to jury. He is so disposable. We're fit in. Loser. Why do you have to talk shit about Taylor to get camera time? Wake it up. Wake it up. Why? Why is that the only time you get camera time? Interesting. Loser behavior. He is not.
What do you think he smells like?
He did get camera time crying when Paloma went home.
Like a loser. I can't.
Did Paloma even talk to this guy one time?
No.
He said she was talking to him. She was like, I want to leave the house. He was like, yeah, we'll together. Okay.
Sir, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Honestly, you should have left with her. You should have.
Yeah, you should. You'll be next back.
Why don't you pack your bags? Anyways, what is his gameplay but bashing black women? I don't know. Does he have any alliances? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, he is as disposable as Terrence. Oh,
Oh,
oh my god! First of all, why does that look like my mother consoling me during my mental health
Right. It looks like
breakdowns?
a little girl and her old short hair mom
She's
hugging her after like a bad day at school.
Horrible.
mind you, they barely know this girl. I can't. It's actually crazy. It's actually
Yeah, I told you
crazy.
she had Paul tactics. Honestly, it's crazy how much control she had over these people with
It was
as
yeah.
much time she
giving
had.
Dan's funeral.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yep.
the
Yep.
reactions. That was
Yep.
crazy. Wow.
But there you
Wow.
go. Turner. I'm assuming I mean F, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put him above Brittany since she's telling him things, and he's snitching it right to Pooch. So right there, there you go. Got two more people left.
Oh my god, I thought we only had
Um,
one left. I forgot
yeah,
Alyssa. I forgot Alyssa existed.
these two are still not doing much for me, but I mean, we got Alyssa. I mean, what Alyssa was one of the lapdogs of Paloma, and then she kind of just started doing her own thing. If I'm gonna be honest with you, which she's kind of not with taking Taylor out. It seems.
Hmm.
Um, I don't really know what else to say that she does. Is she is in the 6-person alliance. We can give her that.
And
Um,
the girls.
yeah, but that's it. We don't really see Alyssa at all ever. She's kind of doing nothing. But I mean, hey, I don't think anyone's targeting her. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, is she? How high are we putting her, Diego, or how low? Like, I don't. There's not much
I
to talk
mean,
about with her.
yeah, I mean, I could see her like a D as well, just because, like y'all said, she's in the 6% alliance. She's with the girls alliance. Nobody's really looking at her in the competition yesterday. Like she did pretty bad. So I don't think people are. They just don't feel, I guess, like intimidated by her. Not intimidated, but just like they don't feel like she's a target. They don't feel like they are. They can. Why would they waste an HOH on Alyssa? Like she's doing nothing. I also do like the fact that she distanced herself from Paloma like right away. Like I think she was like grouped with her like day one, and I think by like the end of day two, she noticed that she needed to get away from Paloma. Like I think she has a good mind. She's very reserved, and I would like for her to just open up a little more. I would like to see her uh maybe even talk to the cameras, because I don't know what she's thinking. So it's hard for me to like even grade her, because I don't know who she trusts. I don't know how she's feeling. I don't know how she's gonna navigate this game.
Yeah, I don't know either, Diego. Let's see if Katie knows. Katie, do you know what's her pathway? What's her direction?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it sounds like, just based on what I've been keeping my eye on Twitter, Amira and Nicole were talking about how Alyssa seems like someone who's going to get dragged through the game and make it far. So maybe they'll start to. I don't know. These girls are talking a lot today, so I don't know what they're actually serious about and what they're not. But it seems like her name did come up, so that's not great. But I don't think that she's a target right away for anybody. I think she's pretty much just there. I think she's one of the first ones that started turning around a little bit and was like, maybe we're being a little mean. She tried to distance herself a little bit, it seemed like, from Paloma towards the end, and was like, yeah, at the beginning we were like best friends, and now it's like, we're really just different. She's got something a little flirtation-ish going on with Kyle, so that could help her out. Maybe these two can link up as a final two, or her, Michael, and Kyle. I mean, I don't know. I could see her going far, but I just don't know what her plan is or her strategy. I did hear she's a fan of the game. I heard that she knows Alyssa from BB23 through like a fan community or something like that. So like obviously she has watched the game, but you could have fooled me. So I don't know. I think she'll probably make it to jury
Also,
though.
Yeah.
Alyssa disowned her on Twitter. BB 2023. She was like,
Yeah, I saw that.
I barely know her. I'm disappointed in her behavior, even though a few days ago talking about, oh my god, Alyssa. So
Okay.
just to that point. Yeah.
Battle of the Alyssas.
I'm feeling. I mean, there's not much else to say here.
No.
Like Alyssa D. Yeah, is
I think D. Yeah, probably.
Honestly, she gives JC Lynn edit to me.
Yep.
Like she's the
yeah.
pretty girl who's gonna be carried by a guy.
Yep.
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 And
Yep.
that's just the laws of the game. There's always one of them. So
Let's see if she
Yep.
can win
I
comps
guess
like
it's
JC
you.
Lynn.
Yeah.
I only put her above
Uh,
Joseph because she's in 2 alliances and he isn't. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
That's
I think that's
fair.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Lastly, we got Indy. Personally, I think she's fun. She calls a lot of people out on their BS. And I enjoy that from Indy. But strategically, she's another player that's just giving us nothing. I don't think I've seen her in a single strategy talk. I don't think she's in the single alliance. I don't think she really knows the game of Big Brother. She definitely gave like a recruit at the beginning, and it's kind of apparent here. That's I hate doing this, but again, that's all I have to say about her. Diego, you got anything to say about Indy that I don't know about?
Yeah, I mean, I might be a little biased. Obviously, as a Latino immigrant myself with an accent, I love her. I was very excited when I saw her and Marvin. I was like, oh my God, we have 2 immigrants with accents. Personally, it was the first time that I felt like, oh my God, I could apply on this show and I could actually maybe make it on Big Brother. Like, it made me feel represented. It made me feel like I have a chance to one day be on the show. So I really like her personally because of that. I also really like that she calls people out. She's a fan of Big Brother Brazil, which I don't know if any of you have ever seen Big Brother Brazil. I have. It's extremely chaotic, drama all the time. People are not afraid of calling each other out. But it's because it's a public vote. So it is a little bit of a pleasing to what you think the public wants. So I hope she's not just doing what she thinks we want to see, and I hope she's being her true self in the house. I appreciate the chaotic energy. I think if she stays in the game, she's gonna bring a lot of drama, a lot of entertainment, and I really don't see her going home pre-jury. She could. Just because people are underestimating her. They're like, oh, it's Indy, like, can she even talk game because of her accent? Which is not cool. But yeah, I don't know. She could make it far, but I could see her making it to jury, just kind of floating by. But I could also see her go home next week. So
Okay, Josie.
Yeah, same wavelength of like Brittany. I enjoy them to give the chaos that I need to step away from the horrid reality that is this game. She keeps it real. That's like all I can say. All my opinions on her are based off her personality, which I've enjoyed. I like that she holds people accountable and that she's not afraid to be like, no, you're wrong. Shut up. Let me repeat my point so you understand and get it through your head. Which, again, one of the only people using common sense. I thought it was funny preseason, like her interviews, because you could tell that she didn't at least know Big Brother US. Okay, I didn't know she watched BB Brazil, but at least Big Brother US, she ain't know nothing about it. So I think she was funny in that sense. I unfortunately don't see her winning not because it has anything to do with her necessarily. Obviously, knowing about the game helps you navigate the games, but we've seen people win for, I'm thinking like Dane or not, from season 6, Derek. People who don't know the game and then have John Party, for example, people who don't know the game and who have someone to help them, assist them, and then navigate. So obviously you don't need to necessarily know the game. It helps. But I think because people underestimate her and don't take her seriously, I don't think anyone's going to take her seriously as an ally. And like we saw, like someone's throwing stuff like, oh, I don't think she can talk game because of her accent. First of all, fuck off, you dumb idiot. That's so weird. The behavior being exhibited on this season is really cringy and loser-like behavior. So I think she has a rough road ahead of her. But I think she has the potential to be a star this season. So, it's a rough season, but I think she can shine some light and make us laugh, make us smile. So that's good on her.
Katie, how you feeling ranking wise?
It's hard. It's hard because while I agree with everything Josie and Diego are saying, and I like Indy, I don't know that she knows how to play the game. Last week, when she was picked to play the veto, she was like, "Yeah, I want to save myself for next week," and it's like, "Ma'am, no, that's not what's happening here." So I just don't know that she knows what she's doing. I like her though. Like, I like that she is calling people out. I like that she was one of the only people to say to Paloma, like, "You're talking a lot of shit and shut up because like you're not present here." I like that. I like that. I just like her attitude. I don't like that, what some of the things that people are saying about her in the house, and just like, to me, it seems like a lot of assumptions that they're like, oh, she just thinks she's on Big Brother Brazil. She wants to be like, why are you assuming that just because she's Brazilian and she watches a show? Like, chill. I just don't know. This is a hard one for me because I feel like she's going to be an easy pawn nom that ends up going home. I don't know what she's going to do when she gets on the block, or if she's going to know how to fight for herself. I don't know if she really understands the rules of the game. So I don't know.
She could be a Victoria, though. To be fair,
yep. She could.
Like, she could be carried to the final three. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. We don't know. Like, this whole cast is a big ass question mark. Like,
yep.
Like,
she gives me like Meta World Peace energy, where she's gonna like vote the wrong way, and because like she doesn't know the rules of the game. That's like the energy she's giving me. Because she just doesn't know. She doesn't know the rules.
That's such a good comparison. That's so funny.
But like, we like Meta World Peace and we like her. So it's like, where do we rate them? I don't know.
I think, I mean, unfortunately, she's going to be an F. I really do hope that she kicks it up and figures it out. We saw Derek X do it last season. We'd love for her to be that kind of position. In terms of having no allies, she has to go down here with Terrence, but I think she'll be better than Terrence.
I think so too.
So, gonna put her right there.
Sorry, Indy.
And there you have it. Wow. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, technically 9. But 8 people in the F tier. That's definitely a silent podcast first. Hopefully this season gets better, man, because it's not on to a good start at all, and it's looking treacherous out here. So there you go. 2 hours. I did not expect for that to go that long, but this is the first one. It's always exactly. Like, it usually gets
we
to
had
this
to debunk a lot in the beginning, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go. But that was a fun one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening on the platforms at a later time, or if you're watching live, because we had a lot of viewers, so thank you for everyone's watching. Please, if you haven't already, check out all of our social media pages. You can check out our Twitter at silent_podcast, or the YouTube or Twitch Silent Podcast, and you can also find that on Apple Podcasts. You can find on Spotify, Deezer, wherever you listen to your audio. And if you enjoy what you're listening to, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you're on one of the audio platforms, only if it's a 5-star, rate it. If you don't like it, if you want to give us 4, don't do it. Just wait until you like something that you hear. All right. So thank you, everyone, for listening. We're going to start doing our closeouts. Diego, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you for pulling up and hanging out with us, and you're more than welcome to come any other time if you're down for it. But where can people find you? What you up to?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a rough start of the season, but it was good to talk to all of you and get so many different perspectives from so many different people. And yeah, I mean, I'm just on Twitter at bitterjur with triple T, just talking smack about the season and a lot of reality TV. So yeah,
I think this season is going to have a lot of bitter jurors, so that username's fitting.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Diego. Josie, where can people find you? What you up to?
Yes, you guys can follow me on the platforms that matter, Instagram and Twitter at JosianXNM. So JosianeXNM. I am a silent podcaster, so I'm with the BB Can Big Brother US crew, talking all things Big Brother. But I also am a host for Just So Damn Messy, where we cover all your favorite messy reality TV shows. We're currently covering Love Island, and it's been so messy this season, post Casa Amor for the girls that know. So me and my friend are just giving you guys a brief update, and it should be coming out in a few days. So get excited for that. I also podcast at times, the challenge USA, TJ Hates Quitters with Carrie. So you guys can check me out there. But that's really it for me.
All right, and then Katie.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on both Twitter and Instagram at RealSlimKatie. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore at the end. If you feel free to drop a follow there, it's free to do so and would appreciate the support. You can also find me on Silent Podcast talking about a number of different things. Obviously, Big Brother, we're here right now. Last week, we did our first live feed podcast. Took a little bit of a break from it throughout the week because things were just too dire to talk about, but would like to bring that back soon. So look out for that in your feeds. It's called Bounce Checks Feed Bites. Short little bites of feed updates that are easy to digest for you guys. You can also find me talking all things Challenge USA with Carrie on TJ Hates Quitters. We're covering the Challenge USA season together. It's been a really fun season so far. The podcasts have been super fun. Love the first 2 episodes, so definitely check us out there. And you can also find Carrie and I talking all things Real Housewives universe on the Cool Water Show. We usually drop those on Sundays right after the Real Housewives of Atlanta, so definitely check us out there. We're both on all your podcast platforms and on YouTube. Been talking a little bit about some Bachelorette stuff, so keep an eye out for that. And that's it.
All right. And lastly, like usual, you can follow me at 8ballbangers on all social media. In terms of silent podcast stuff, other than Big Brother, obviously, I'm getting over a sickness, so I'm going to be a podcastaholic this weekend. So look out for a new episode of At the Movies podcast with Mark Levy, the Marvelous Duo with Jake Schwartz, and also the I Want to Be Famous podcast. Yes, the I Want to Be Famous podcast with Sabrina Nelson. You can also find me on Rob Has a Podcast. I'm going to be on there Sunday with Terrence and all of them recapping the episode, so you can check me out over there. And lastly, you can find me on the Purple Pants podcast at the end of every month, talking about music with Bryce Isaiah. We're going to be talking about summer music this time. So Beyonce, Drake, and all that other fun stuff just dropped. So we're going to have a lot of talk about. And yeah, so until we see you guys next Friday, this has been the Bounce Checks podcast. Thank you for sitting through this very long but very fun podcast. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye.